Like we always do about this time. Like we always do about this time.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
What's up, guys? Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Really do appreciate you. I'll be with you in just a second.
Just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated? Yesterday's a hard word for me.
Builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Wednesday, we just pop right into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to be one of these buttons that I can hit, and I think it's that one. What's happening, guys? How are you? Welcome to the show. I appreciate you joining me. Lots to get to, lots to talk about, lots to discuss as usual. Please make sure you hit that like button on the way in, though. Really important that you do that. Please subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed to the channel already. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers, and the more subscribers we get, the more damage we could cause in this atmosphere, and that's what I want to do. I want to be in here causing a ruckus, causing some damage, much like people in the streets of the United States are doing right this very second. Let me see if I can throw this on the screen because just a few of the things that we're going to touch on today. First off, let me get to the chat before I hop in too far, get ahead of my skis. How's everybody doing? Thank you to the chat. Much appreciated to you guys. Thank you to the mods. There you are. What's happening, guys? What's going on? Hi, Tina. How are you? What's up, moms? How are you? Hi, Sammy. What's up, Steve? Appreciate you, my brother. What's going on, Candy? How are you? Hi, Trina. What's up, Jen? What's up, my dude? Appreciate you. Hey, Jenny Faye. How are you? Appreciate you being here. What's up, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, everybody. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you can, if you're in the financial position to do so. A few different ways in which you can contribute. We hold nothing behind a paywall here, no content you will ever have to pay for. So all we ask for is, again, the financial contributions of $1 or $2 if you can. That's, easiest way is probably the Venmo, easiest and quickest way, but also the super chats and gifts you can send throughout the chat. That would be fantastic. So self-promotional bullshit out of the way. What do you say we dive into just a little bit of the stories, a few of the stories that we're going to cover today, because I got a lot pulled up, a lot that I want to dive into. Of course, everybody's been talking about this as far as the ongoing and continued public outrage that is persisting, that has erupted on the streets of various and multiple different cities throughout the country. Here, let me see if I can get this out of my face. Sorry. Appreciate you, chat. Appreciate you, mods. Just hope you know that. But yeah, this is Mercado Media, and he's got a live stream going right now at the time. And I believe he's in, it says St. Paul, Minnesota. But there is a multitude of different live streams that you can find from even going from last night still, Chicago, New York, like I said, Minneapolis here, all over the place in Minnesota. So, again, people are outraged. People are showing their displeasure for what they saw. Can I just dive into just a couple seconds of what we're seeing here? Again, this is, I believe, a live shot. If not, we could go to live here. Let me just dive into it real quick. You can see here, it looks like they're already going to set up barriers, and I'll just turn it down, let it play so you don't have to catch off a live. But you can see them right here already unloading more barriers. Looks like more concrete coming in advance of more protests. Looks like they're expecting this to get worse before it gets better, judging by some of what we're seeing take place now. And again, he's been out there, looks like all morning. You can go back on the live stream and see different parts of what was taking place this morning. I do believe that woke farmer guy, are you guys familiar with the woke farmer? I believe he was out there on this live stream at one point, giving him raising hell. Let me see if I can find that on here. I think that's him in the background with the megaphone. Let me see if I can skip forward here, because I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was on camera for a little bit. Let me see if I can catch that moment. I know it's going to be tough because he was on a live stream. Let me see if this catches it. But I don't know if you guys have heard or, familiar with the woke farmer. I believe I'm getting the name right, but he was with Jolly Good Ginger. And when they were doing their, kind of sit-in type of deal in Washington, D.C., I believe he was the one that was arrested, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but yeah, I'm trying to see. There was one moment in time, but like I said, it's been such a long live stream, it'd probably be difficult to pinpoint the exact moment where he was on camera. But again, oh, there he is right there.
2 miles, we know that. That's why you don't go after criminals. That's why you go after Abuela, because you're little fucking cowardly fat pieces of shit.
I love him.
Bag of
I
dicks
fucking
all
love
around.
him.
You can't even form a proper fucking perimeter. Do you not have any fucking training? Because right now, this is a bag of dicks. Y'all making yourselves look bad. Fucking, what happened to standards? What happened to standards for our federal forces? You're all a bunch of obese piece of shit, fucking January 6th Proud Boys who couldn't get into the Marines, who couldn't get into the police force, or got kicked out. You all fucking suck. Awesome. You are all enemies of America. You are enemies of the people, and you all go to
Apparently there's going to be some all-wise people.
I love him. And I think he's been blowing up on socials, again, ever since that, that incident, I want to say, and that kind of, I don't want to call it a sit-in, but, the demonstration that they were kind of making a point of in Washington, D.C. there with Jolly Good Ginger. But this continues, because even above and beyond the Minneapolis shooting, we had a shooting take place not far from one of our listeners that's in the chat right now. Yakov sent me this, and Jen was sent me this. They were on top of it. Thank you to the chat, by the way, for keeping me informed and up to date, because this took place not long after, where 2 people were shot in Portland as well. So again, taking a look at this, and then we'll go into some more protests. But this is just a quick update on that situation. But this continues. This is not an isolated incident, right? This brutality, the violence, the way that they treat people, the reckless way and they handle in their weapons and discharging their weapons are clearly not a one-off incident. So this is just a quick update here of, again, another shooting taking place. Again, if you haven't heard of this one in Portland. But let's dive into that. And again, thank you to everybody that sent this article or sent this link my way.
So we're at Northeast 146 and East Burnside. This is where Portland police officers found the 2 people who were shot by federal agents. And just to sort of set the scene for you, this is a very residential area. We're surrounded by large apartment complexes. As you can see, there's the police tape there. There's officers walking around. There's more than half a dozen Portland police cruisers. But I want to pan it back over this way. I have a man, his name is Alex. He lives right next to where a lot of this police activity is unfolding. So Alex, talk to us. What have you seen today?
When I was coming back home and I didn't see the actual shooting, but they had the whole street blocked off. And just in talking to people, it sounds like somebody was trying to get away from them in their car and was shot.
Yeah, Candy, again, I'm terrible at kind of bringing people into like everything that we're going to cover, but I must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 16 different links open that we're hoping to get through today. A few of them obviously pertaining to the protest, obviously pertaining to this recent shooting in Portland. To update everybody, we have a video here from Mike Figueredo, and thank you, Candy, again for reminding me to kind of let everybody know what we'll be covering today. Sometimes I get so excited, I just want to hop right into it, and I kind of get ahead of myself. But Mike Figueredo here from the Humanist Report put together a good clip here, a good video of some of the right-wing reaction, of some of the reaction from people like Jesse Waters and people on Fox News, and he does a good job of calling that out. So I definitely want to dive into that. And to your point here, and I believe this is what maybe Tim Waltz was touching on. I may be wrong, but this is the New York Times video, basically doing a deep dive and kind of doing what we did and slowing everything down, going frame by frame, looking directly at where the feet are, where the car is, what the situation is. And it goes against everything that Kristi Noem and Donald Trump said. So I'm not sure if this is specifically what he's referencing, But we will be taking a look at this New York Times video that pretty much does the same thing that we've been doing on this show since this incident happened, and kind of going over the facts and the evidence. Ben Meiselas from Midas Touch does a good job of putting together some of the clips from the most recent hearing, in which Jasmine Crockett has a really heartfelt message. Jared Moskowitz, whatever you think of him, he has a couple good instances, a couple good comebacks here, a couple good clips that we want to take a look at from this hearing. So we'll be taking a look at that, and then we'll hop over to Rumble, because Tim Pool, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Pool kind of gets a little pushback from people on the set. This gentleman, not familiar with him, but apparently is a lawyer, and Tim Pool is also joined by a female guest who seemingly has different opinions on what they saw than Tim Pool does. So I want to see if we can dive into at least a little bit of that. And then there's Donald Trump Jr., who has his take on this, his fucking horrendous take, which I want to call out as well. Jesse Ventura, obviously, a lot of people have been talking about this clip. A lot of people have been, sharing this on social media. So I want to see if we can do a little dive into that as well. Obviously, Jen and Pumps have another clip talking about JD Vance's press conference, which we talked about yesterday, and how it doesn't bode well, what JD Vance said for the officer. It almost seems like, it was made to seem like he was unfit for duty because of something that happened in his past and, in the line of duty. So again, we'll be taking a look at that. Donald Trump did sit down with fucking Sean Hannity and it looks like that the title of this says, President Trump reveals plans for governorship of Venezuelan. I don't know what that means. But again, if we have time, I'm kind of curious as to what the fuck he says in that has anything to do with the governorship of Venezuela. But again, and then at the end of the show, we'll be diving into the Russian tanker that was seized. So much has been taking place inside the country. So much has been happening with protests and the shooting and ICE and everything else. I haven't even had time to dive into this. So Preston Stewart does a good little deep dive, a little recap of what's been taking place with this Russian tanker that was being shadowed. I think we know it was being shadowed for about a week and a half. But as for its kind of seizing and what's happened since, we'll get caught up on that as well. What else we got? We also have the Minnesota Attorney General, looks like, trying to announce a joint investigation here. And I'm kind of curious as to whether or not the FBI is willing to accept that. And we'll have to see what she says in that. So thank you, Candy, for reminding me to just take a second and let everybody know what we'll be going through on the show today. That's just a little bit of it. I do appreciate it. Hit that like button. And let's get back into a little bit of the recounting from, again, that second shooting of 2 people in Portland that took place, and see if we can gather any more information. It's just really quick. I think we only have about a minute left anyway.
That's the most that I've heard.
Can you describe sort of the tone of this neighborhood?
We're all just working class people. There's a lot of immigrants. I think everyone around here knows that. But they keep to themselves. They don't cause any trouble for me. I live right here. They don't touch my stuff. When I have problems, it's from US born people.
How does this make you feel watching this unfold right outside your doorstep?
I am beyond angry that this is happening the day after they killed that woman. I mean, this has gone too far. This is beyond voting. We need to do something. Like, the people need to do something. This is ridiculous.
And again, to his point and to his frustration, and you can see the emotion, right? I mean, you can see what happens when this shit, like, it ends up being on your block. Like, it's one thing to, be watching a podcast. It's one thing to be watching the news and see it happening in Portland, and you don't live in Portland. It's one thing to be seeing it in Minneapolis, and you don't live in Minneapolis, or in Chicago or New York, and you don't live there. It's another thing to come outside of your fucking front door and see 2 people being shot, or 2 people sitting on the ground, or a huge crime scene with ICE and DHS, and people having just been shot outside of your home, people that you may be familiar with. I think Fox is trying to report this, and forgive me, I haven't seen any further confirmation on this at all, but I would kind of gather that they're kind of jumping the gun on this. They're trying to make it seem like, and I believe it was Harris Faulkner that said that they were affiliated with Tren de Aragua, or that's what initially they're trying to get this to seem like at the beginning of this. But again, you can see the frustration, the emotion, and that's leading to this shit, ladies and gentlemen. That's leading to this. The guy says something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. People need to act. And that's exactly what people are seeing. I mean, this was last night. I believe I think this is Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken.
Right now, what's happening right now in Philadelphia,
right.
You can see the size of that crowd. Thousands of people are gathering right now for a peaceful protest. It is one of several across the country, all in response.
So several across the country, as you just heard him say. This is that's Philadelphia. They go on to talk about the circumstances of the shooting and obviously the victim, Renee Good, in this instance. And again, the difference in which the way the right wing and Fox and propaganda on the right describes and talks about Renee in this instance, and just, talking about her life and what she's done in the past. I think there was a Democracy Now! Video, which, they're talking about her as a caring mother of three, a poet, and just the way that they describe her and are talking about her, juxtaposed to the way that the right is calling her a domestic terrorist, and, she's an animal and was attacking law enforcement. Like, two totally different fucking universes we live on. But again, to the point of the gentleman we just saw being interviewed, this is just one instance that you can look at. And then again, if you go back, here's protests erupt across U.S. after fatal Minneapolis shooting is another one. Let's see what this one was.
Overnight, tensions rising nationwide. Amid the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, crowds gathering in cities across the country, including New York, Columbus, Dallas, L.A., and Minneapolis, where the fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE agent.
Right. So, just another example of the extent of how many people were out and about. That's last night, still out and about today. Right. That hasn't stopped. Like I said, if you're just joining us or joined us late, here's a live look at a Mercado Media live stream taking place. I believe this is Minneapolis right now, and these are some agitators. If I'm correct in this one, check this out.
Why are you betraying the law? You're breaking the law.
They keep on attacking. The Patriots are in control, everybody. The Patriots are in control. The Patriots are in control.
So that's a neo-Nazi scumbag that you'll find prominent on Twitter with the I love or we love ICE sign, trying to instigate in a reaction from, again, the peaceful protesters that have been, again, keeping their distance, using their First Amendment rights to give their opinion, to protest peacefully, while these people just kind of strut around in the face begging for a reaction. And you can see basically nothing being done by the law enforcement agents to stop this kind of shit. Again, trying to provoke this reaction. But this is live as far as I can see. I think it's about, yeah.
You see what happens to you, commie fuck? You guys are gonna get hurt. Stand the fuck down, okay?
1807! President Trump, we need you to step in now!
Jesus fucking Christ, what is that thing? What is that? It looks like the fucking heat miser had diarrhea and somehow that just crept out of his toilet. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Send the National Guard, these people. We're here for the 2020 election.
Jesus H. Yep, yeah. Okay. You can keep them. So again, that's just a live look at what's going on. And I didn't quite get let's see if this tells us what establishment they're outside of at this moment in time. Let's see here. It says this morning's protest at the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building follows demonstrations at the same location yesterday after Renee Nicole Good was killed by an ICE officer. The Whipple Building, which houses federal offices, includes ICE, was the focus of protests and confrontations on Wednesday with a continued law enforcement presence. Today's gathering is a part of the same series of protests tied to that incident. We're covering it live. What's happening on the ground and tracking developments as they unfold in Minneapolis. And of course, as we've been talking about, this is just one instance of many happening now around the country, both last night, today. Now, it looks like, did somebody else cross the line here? Like, are they now, are they together now? What's happening here? I'm kind of curious. Is this about to kick off?
President Trump, send ICE.
Just an absolutely ludicrous scene. These people playing Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby with the We Love Ice sign after they quite literally just shot in cold blood in broad daylight on the streets of America a U.S. citizen because at the fucking very most, she had her car in the middle of the road. I mean, just fucking wild scenes. Like I said, when this kind of proves to me just how, like, separated we still are as a country, these fucking MAGA lunatics and people that actually have a head on their shoulders and a brain to fucking work with, like, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Like what you can see with your own eyes and look at the situation on the whole and somehow be like, you know what? Yeah, I can see how deadly force was used in that situation. Is just totally befucking sides. I don't know. Just it's something that I can't comprehend, right? And how these fucking, and I know why they're doing it here. They're doing it just so fucking people like me can put them on their podcast, and just so the fucking Elons and these other dickheads on Twitter can pick them up and post their fucking videos and shit. But I mean, how sick and twisted do you need to be in order to celebrate the death of your fellow fucking countrymen and women at the hands of the government that you want to be as small as humanly possible, while also having a fucking "Don't Tread on Me" T-shirt on, but cheering and applauding for the federal government's sanctioned murder of a U.S. citizen? It's wild to me that we could be that distinctly far apart still. And again, just to kind of highlight that, I guess, a little further, probably a good segue into this. And this is a, credit where credit is due, a Humanist Report video from Mike Figueredo. If you're not following him on the Humanist Report, I would definitely advise and recommend you do so. He does great work over there. This is called "The Right's Charlie Kirk Rules Don't Apply to Renee Good," apparently. And again, this is just kind of highlighting a little bit of the hypocrisy and the different responses from these fucking wacko, lunatic, fucking bloodthirsty, murderous pieces of shit on the right, like the one you're seeing on your screen right now, Jesse Waters. And again, what you're seeing from people that actually have a soul and a heart and can, distinctly see what's going on in this situation and how it didn't have to end up the way it ended up by any means. All right, so let's check this out again. The Humanist Report, Mike Figueredo, credit where credit is due.
Was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado. With
a self-proclaimed poet, right? And then he goes on to call her what? A domestic terrorist?
Pronouns in her bio.
I mean, again, just the way that they fucking even describe, like, they can't even bring themselves to act like a typical honest news fucking corporation agency in just that simple way of just, bringing you the reality, the facts of who this woman was, just in that simple moment, right? They can't even describe her in a way that makes them seem human. Right? They have to dehumanize. They have to degrade and make it seem like this was an other person, somebody that deserved this, as opposed to a United States citizen that no matter what the fuck you say about what you saw on that video, nothing about that justifies the use of deadly force or is fucking reasonable action or in any way, can fucking justify why an American citizen is now dead because of this entire fucking action. And it's crazy. And listen to this one more time. You know what I mean? A self-proclaimed poet. You know what I mean? Not just saying, hey, a mother of three, this is her age. The facts like a fucking news agency should. Not even close. They can't do that. They even have to propagandize the woman's fucking biography, right?
The woman who lost her life was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado with pronouns in her bio. A 37-year-old white woman named Renee.
Well, the fact that she has pronouns in her bio is supposed to excuse these Fox viewers right now of, the reality of what they just witnessed. That's supposed to justify, it's supposed to allow them off the hook of being, maybe a little bit shocked at what they saw or a little bit angry at the ICE officers. Don't worry about it. She's a lunatic lefty. She had pronouns in her bio. It's not like we lost a good one. It's not like we lost, somebody on our own side or somebody that matters. This is, again, a blue-haired liberal, on another one of these Fox shows, they're talking about her, radical ties to some fucking interesting groups behind the scenes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? Like, unbelievable, the difference in way it's just reporting the necessary details or the facts of the woman's life, right? Just her bio, just that simple fucking moment that the news agencies are supposed to have and get right. They can't even do that on these fucking news networks, on Fox, on OAN, Newsmax, RSBN.
Good. The Daily Mail says she leaves behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage.
Okay, so lesbian, right? So again, another reason why you shouldn't be pissed off, another reason why you could consider her an other, right? Another reason why, hey, it's not like another good person was taken off this planet. Don't worry. It was a blue-haired, liberal, crazy lady with ties to left-wing organizations that was a lesbian, of all things, had pronouns in her bio. Like, again, don't lose any sleep at night is kind of the message that he's trying to get across now to the fucking whack jobs that still watch Fox News.
She was a disruptor, though she considered herself a legal observer. But there's no evidence she had a law degree.
You can see the agent.
And again, I'm no professional, but do you need a law degree in order to be a legal observer? How does that work? Correct me, educate me in the chat, please, and thank you. If anybody knows kind of the ins and outs of that, I'd like to know. Do you necessarily have to be a lawyer to be a legal observer? How does that work out? Please let me know. I appreciate you guys.
Limping away after he fired shots.
Limping.
So I agree with
limping. Now, that's a strange limp. I'm going to say the limp might be a little bit more prominent if, again, what the president said in his fucking True Social post was even remotely, even to any extent, remotely what happened in this case. You'd think that the limp might be, I don't know, noticeable to some extent, to any extent.
with President Trump and Secretary Noem on this, that this was an act of domestic terrorism. These were, it appears to be.
Let me see here. It looks like somebody on Twitch was trying to answer. As a citizen, you can be somebody who observes the legality of our law enforcement offices. Right, but there must be some sort of qualification. No, I don't know about qualification, but some sort of routine that you go through in order to be signed off on. Again, I'm just asking. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm quite clearly curious on this one. No degree required. Mad Mac, thank you, buddy, for yours. However, there is a class to take for being a cert. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Right. Okay. So right along the lines of what I was thinking. I got you. I appreciate that. But not necessarily, there's no stipulation that you have to have a law degree. So what he's bringing up and what he referenced in that is just, it's irrelevant anyway, is basically what I'm trying to get across, correct? I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mad Mac, and thank you to everybody that responded on that one. Thank you so much.
Paid agitators.
The left believes they can do anything they want, and we're just supposed to sit down and take it. It's time for Americans to say enough, and if you get in the way of the government repelling a foreign invasion, you're going to end up just like that lady did yesterday.
A clear threat right there, I guess, to anybody that thinks they're going to protest or in any way show frustration with the government, with ICE, DHS, and now other agencies are now enacting. Was that a clear threat that anybody that determines that what ICE is doing isn't appropriate? Pretty much like the entire fucking country, other than that small base of fucking bigoted, racist pieces of shit that we still have in this country. Unbelievable. I mean, that was pretty clear, right?
I'm sorry you had to see that. The depravity is unreal because you can almost sense the joy in their voices when they talk about this poor woman who was murdered by ICE. She was a, self-proclaimed poet and a lesbian with pronouns in her bio, i.e., she was somebody worthy of death from the rights perspective. So don't be sad about her state-sanctioned execution. Celebrate it, since she was somebody worthy of execution, as are others like her, who we should also be doing that to. That's the vibe that they were putting out. And as cliche as it sounds, we really have reached lies on par with George Orwell's 1984. Conservatives are literally gaslighting us about a video that we all saw with our own two eyes. And even though this is completely unnecessary, I do want to show you this frame-by-frame analysis, which disproves all of the bullshit claims that they're making about the video that we all watched.
If you go frame by frame, you can see.
And again, instead of using the TikTok video, why don't we hop over right now? It's a good time to hop over to this New York Times video that a lot of people are talking about. And I'll remove myself from the picture so you guys can get a clear and accurate view at it. And again, this is video contradicts Trump administration account of ICE shooting in Minneapolis. It's again a 3-minute and 57-second video from the New York Times, pretty much going frame by frame, circling and squaring out certain details and talking about it. So what do you say we just dive into a little bit of this? And again, we'll just go straight to the source. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Brian. Again, this is the New York Times video going directly against, contradicting everything that Kristi Noem and Donald Trump said in their statements. Let's go. Play. Is it playing? It is.
On Wednesday in Minneapolis, a federal agent fatally shot a motorist, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots fired because the officer was being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range. Here's how events unfolded. Moments before the shooting, the victim's maroon SUV is stopped in the middle of the street. Multiple unmarked federal vehicles are idling nearby. Secretary Noem alleged the motorist, quote, was blocking the officers in. Bystanders are blowing whistles and yelling at federal agents.
Go home to Texas!
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the maroon SUV, with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone.
That's the guy. That's the shooter, by the way. Don't forget that he's already walking around filming. Remember how we talked about yesterday? How we pointed out his cell phone and it wasn't a weapon to begin with, and how he was standing in front of the vehicle with his cell phone. What more worried about filming than he was anything about his surroundings? Well, keep an eye on this.
The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then
Cars
stops
passing,
and waves
though. Remember, cars are passing.
for others to go ahead.
She's waving them on.
Two agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely. This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from
Very similar to the exact same things that we pointed out on the show, and how we stopped and went frame by frame, still by still, showing exactly where he was, the positioning, how he could have avoided that situation altogether, with 10 or 20 different fucking options that he had at his disposal if he was properly trained.
This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit
Again,
by
this is the angle that Trump posted on his Truth Social.
SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV.
It's almost like exactly what we determined, and most of the people that watched this clearly determined when they watched it, and they took the time to go still by still by still, moment by moment, and then even take the broader look at the fucking situation, from a 20-foot, 25-foot, vantage point, and say it should have never gotten to that anyway.
The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road.
What the?
A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle.
Seconds funny, later, that limp. Where's that limp again? Where's that limp?
He turns back around and tells his
He's
colleagues
already on his cell phone, already looking at his cell phone again, right here in his hand,
to call 911.
Shame! You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
Can I go check a pulse? No! Back up! Now! I'm a physician! I don't care.
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene.
And again, that's referenced, and we did kind of go over that a little bit yesterday in like what the protocol is, and it's a little bit vague. It does in one instance say that it is, kind of protocol and policy for them to leave the scene and to go find like a safe place with a safe person, that type of stuff. But it also says that they're required to stay on the scene to give certain information, about what just happened before they, again, just fucking pop and take off in a vehicle and leave the scene of the crime, right? So again, it's a little bit wish-washy. I don't know if there's maybe some more detailed information we could pull up that kind of, details what information they're supposed to give, required to give. But I think in the Tim Pool video that we'll jump into in a bit, will kind of references that as well. So I'll be kind of curious as to what they say about that aspect. The lawyer that's sitting next to Tim Pool and what he has to say about that. But yeah, let's dive into this next video here, because this is, again, sticking with the same thing. This is how the GOP hearing back backfired as Dems take it over. And again, this is just a Midas Touch video by Ben. He put together a couple good clips here. And I want to show you this kind of heartfelt message by Jasmine Crockett, if I may. And let me see if I can get it at the beginning. Because again, this is, I think, a lot of what people are feeling now, at least emotionally, as far as what's been taking place. Not only that, but the hypocrisy we've seen from the GOP, again, as it pertains to, the murder, the death of Charlie Kirk. So let's just play a few of these clips from today's hearing. I think there's a couple from Jasmine Crockett. There's a couple from Jared Moskowitz, I believe. So we'll just fly through them quick. I'm sure there's a couple more as well. So let's dive into it. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button.
Down here, play this clip.
It is so hard to sit here sometimes because I didn't come to Congress to write laws or to do things that are hurting people. I'm just asking if there's any decency or heart or courage on that side of the aisle. The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child. Child has lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay. I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress. You tell us things like, well, the immigrants are bad. And so we got to get all these bills because the immigrants are the ones that are causing the harm. They're bringing the crime. The mayor of Minneapolis told y'all to get the fuck out. Yet y'all are the ones, it is this administration that is bringing crime to their streets. That's what's happening.
It's the third incident where somebody has dropped an F-bomb in this committee, including the
again, before they explode, I just want to say, the fact that they're more upset and the more willing to speak up and stand up at these fucking hearings because they heard an F-bomb, because they heard some emotion, because they heard somebody fucking real and like an actual human being speak instead of being a fucking robotic politician with this polished fucking manicured bullshit stock, that rhetoric that you come out with. Fuck that. The fact that you're more upset that she dropped an F-bomb than you are at what fucking ICE has been doing to the American people as a fucking elected official, you can stick it right up your fucking ass. How about that? So take your fucking outrage, take your little fucking snowflake sensibilities, and fucking beat feet if you can't take the fucking adult speak, you piece of shit. Because we're more worried about human life and the Americans and fucking the people that you're supposed to be taking care of, rather than the language being used to get your fucking thick skulls to understand what the fuck's going on.
I'm sorry.
Including the video that we had to watch earlier.
Are your princess ears okay?
Is it profanity?
Well,
the princess ears
okay? Representative.
The committee. You are about the fact that a woman.
Are you House of Representatives?
The gentlelady.
Are we offending your princess ears? Are they that soft?
All members will.
Maybe some of
that Swalwell you can hear in the background, obviously fucking trying to, get his point off and shut the fuck up. We're talking about serious subject. You're more worried about your princess ears and the language that you're hearing.
Kids out there.
Mr. Chairman, it is the gentleman. You're killing them.
Kids.
Then you have Democratic Congress member Jared Moskowitz. Here's what he says about Kristi Noem as he holds up a photo of her as she plays cosplay, puts on her outfits while spewing the venomous, vile regime propaganda. Play this clip.
This is the person. This is the person who, within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What is she, hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either. By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys, she looks ridiculous. She's not just an embarrassment to the country. She's an embarrassment to you and the president. Okay, she deserves to be removed from her job by the president, and if not impeached, not just for her complete failures in Homeland, but her destruction of FEMA. She's not even running the department. You guys know this. You guys know she's not running.
I just want to thank you guys in the chat. I do have the Aaron Parnas video. It looks like just dropped about 5 minutes ago with more information. So as soon as we're done with this Midas touch clip, I'll hop right into that Aaron Parnas video if you guys want to check that out. So I appreciate you guys letting me know.
Homeland, your governors and you all, when you need your FEMA money, you don't call Noam, you call Corey. You know she's not running the place. She's a complete and utter embarrassment. By the way, every Homeland Secretary has come in front of this committee once a Congress. I'd like to know the date she's coming. When is she coming?
When is she coming?
When is she coming? By the way, do you know Pam Bondi has not come in front of this committee? Do you know she's the only secretary to not appear in front of a committee yet? When is she coming? What's the date on the calendar that she's coming?
And again, say what you want about Jared Moskowitz, and I certainly have a lot to say myself. But you know, he's spot on, at least in this instance. And I'll just, for the sake of time, like I said, just jump into this next clip here.
My colleague from Colorado, who was following up on my question, you were in here for about 10 minutes, and I tried to subpoena Pam Bondi because she hasn't appeared in front of this committee. She's the only one in the cabinet who has not appeared in the House yet. And so I was told that's out of order. Before the break, you said that she'd be coming in January at a previous hearing, and now she's coming in February, which is fine. So I printed out the calendar of February, and I just figured, like, while we're here, we could just get it on our calendar. So
February 11th.
She's coming the 11th.
Easy Network 2023 asks, who is Corey? I'm assuming Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski is who he's speaking about there when he talks about that. It's been well reported, too, about Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski's close nature, I'll just say, as well. So just to answer that question in the chat.
That's my understanding.
Perfect. Excellent. The 11th. Perfect. So, by the way, since you're on a roll, should I print out the other months so we can know when Noam is coming as well? Because the Homeland Security
that I'm thinking of probably not going to be Jim Jordan, considering what we know about his time at Ohio State and the fact that he's done absolutely fucking nothing in his time as a politician. Not a goddamn thing. All right, so again, just for the sake of time, before we dive on to the Aaron Parnas video, let's see what else we got from this hearing here.
Play this clip.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today with outrage and with grief.
Video is frozen on YouTube? Who said that? Wait, I'm frozen on YouTube? What do you mean? Hold on. Can you see me? Refresh your browser if you have it. It's fine on my side. Shouldn't be any issues. Shouldn't be any issues. It's back. Just refresh. It was frozen. Why the hell would that happen? Everything, I got all check marks as far as streaming on my side. I got good internet connection. Microphones check. Cameras check. Oh, maybe it's just because I wasn't on the screen and maybe because I was talking. I see what you're saying. I apologize. All right, I got you now. My apologies. My apologies.
Yesterday, not even a full week into the new year, ICE murdered a U.S. citizen, Renee Nicole Good, after shooting her multiple times as she was seemingly attempting to drive away, blocking her from medical care and letting her die while a doctor stood by offering to help. The video of this tragedy is damning. I encourage every American to watch it and make their own judgment. A woman is dead, a child has been left without a parent, a community is shattered, and the American people are left once again demanding answers from an agency that has shown time and time again that it operates without accountability. What happened to Renee Good in Minneapolis demands a full, independent, and immediate investigation. I represent Arizona's 3rd congressional district, a diverse and rich community of immigrants. For over a year now, ICE has been terrorizing my constituents. No agency is above the law, yet ICE is now the most well-funded law enforcement agency in the United States, receiving more funding than most militaries around the world, while operating with virtually no meaningful checks and balances. In the immediate aftermath of Renee Good's death, the Trump administration did what it does best. It lied. Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller rushed to smear a dead woman as a, quote, domestic terrorist, while Donald Trump took to Truth Social to gaslight the American people, asking them to deny their own eyes and accept his version of events instead.
And she's 100% right. And again, let's just dive into here before we get too far removed from the old breaking news, if we're getting any here. Let's see if we can dive into this video, see what else.
We have a major development.
See what other updates we can get here from Aaron, if you don't mind. Let's dive into this one. Thanks, guys.
This afternoon, we have new footage of the horrific death of Renee Nicole Good that has been released by Alpha News this afternoon. We also have more information about possible investigations into Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who allegedly killed Nicole Renee Good. Now, I say allegedly because that is the legal term, and that is what I have to say as a reporter, but the videos, they are clear in terms of what happened. Now, at the same time, there is significant concern regarding Kristi Noem on Capitol Hill. Republicans are very upset.
Yeah. What's the news? What's the update? What's the news? What's the update here?
I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates.
So this is footage from the guy that actually shot her.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your
He
face.
says, that's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
Oh, that's her girlfriend. Obviously, you can see her try to get back in the vehicle.
Out of the car. Oh!
Now, as you see in the video, you see Renee Nicole Good's last words to the officer, essentially saying, I'm not mad at you. Then you hear one of the officers on camera, it's unclear whether that's Jonathan Ross or another officer, call her an effing B-word following the shooting. Now, this camera angle does not necessarily provide a ton more new information based on what we've already.
All right, so again, why the big breaking news aspect of this then? What else? What's this part of it?
She behaved horribly. And then she ran him over. She didn't try to run him over.
The
She
video
ran him
didn't look like he was run over.
It's a terrible scene.
It's a terrible scene. And if you look, he specifically says she didn't.
All right, well, again, looks like I've been got by another one of these breaking news
Renee
videos.
Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
Renee Good.
This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
I like her already.
Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Kraftner, who said he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here. Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way. Law enforcement professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles invoking an action that is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those.
And again, correction, not ones with proper training. Not ones with proper training.
Stand against the made up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made up, fake, wannabe law enforcement.
Oh, I like her.
Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the.
This is very, 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 very serious right now.
That's about what we get the gist out of that video. So again, sometimes you get got, sometimes you don't, but it was worth a look taken into that. Again, that new footage from the actual cell phone of the officer, a new look. Again, doesn't really again confirm or deny much other than her last words to the officer being, "I'm not mad at you," and again his response to the shooting afterwards. Other than that, it's pretty much what we saw from the other footage of him walking around the vehicle. Obviously her girlfriend interacting and that sort of stuff. So as far as that is concerned, not too much to glean out of that one. So, but it was worth a try. It was worth a try. Let's dive into this one though, because I like when Tim Pool gets challenged, and I'm kind of curious as to how far he's willing to go to again defend this government fucking sanctioned murder, what it looked like to us on camera, nothing other than, and then just the complete what do you want to call it, escalation by these officers to bring it to this situation. But again, this is Tim Pool, and I want to say he's with this lawyer guy. Again, I'm unfamiliar with who he is, but I like when Tim Pool gets challenged on his own show. So let's see where he kind of goes when he gets challenged on this one. I appreciate you guys. This is Tim Pool. I don't know. He got rid of one of his podcasts, so I'm kind of curious. Which one is this? Did he get rid of Timcast? I know he said he was taking a break on one of them. This is the Culture War with Tim Pool. So maybe it was the Timcast channel. I'm not sure. I know he announced not that long ago that he was kind of taking a break or something like that. Some bullshit. Well, let's dive into this one. I appreciate you guys.
Great to be back. Yes. So you said you were a state prosecutor. I was the DA in Palm Beach County. You were the DA for 12 years. Yeah.
All right. So the DA for Palm Beach County, 12 years. Okay. A little bit of his background just so we can get that out of the way.
Have you seen the video footage of the Minneapolis shooting?
I have. I've seen the different angles. And this is something up my alley because when you're the DA, this is an area where you're hands-on. You go to the scene of an officer-involved shooting and you investigate the police to make sure there was no crime committed.
So, well, what's your assessment based on what you've seen?
I think it'd be difficult to get a conviction if a case is broad, but
Thank you, dude.
I do think there's
Appreciate that.
enough there to send to a grand jury for a possible state indictment. The feds are not going to cooperate, which makes this very unusual. Normally, the feds work with you. Here, they're going to try to work against the state, but the state can.
Looks like he's being pretty honest, at least in his assessment, that it's going to be pretty difficult for the state to try to get a prosecution here. Again, when it's Pam Bondi, when it's Kash Patel, when it's Donald Trump, again, his government running against that. He's being quite honest here as to, whether or not you're going to get kind of fair treatment in this, or kind of treatment as you would if it was kind of a lesser known, lesser high profile case.
If they want to seek an indictment, if there's enough evidence, and if they get it to trial, I think it's going to be an uphill climb for prosecutors. That's different than the question of whether he should have shot. I'm talking from a legal standpoint. I think it's difficult.
So this is pretty interesting in that the officer fled the scene immediately. Is that normal?
That he walked away?
That he got in his car and drove off?
That is very unusual. What happens is normally the officers stay on the scene and they're interviewed by the investigators, or what happens is the officers there and the investigators will interview perhaps the head of the police union. Like they'll send a lawyer or a lawyer from the police.
So this is a little bit of what we were talking about yesterday and trying to figure out yesterday as to the policy and the protocol. And we read that, yes, it is on one half. It was kind of like a two-part answer basically as to, the policy that we looked at where, yes, they're required to give some sort of information. It didn't really specify what that information was. But then it also said that they could also leave the scene with a trusted person, get to a safe place, that sort of thing in the secondary aspect of the answer. But as to, again, here's a little bit more, again, from, just a normal aspect, what the officer, if it was a normal law enforcement officer, would have to do if he was involved in a similar aspect, a similar situation. You'd have to give your accounting of what happened, where you were standing, this information, those details, that detail, so they can kind of recreate and the crime scene. How all the investigators have to know what was going on, what took place, what happened first, what happened next, that type of shit. And then once all the information is given, if you want to go and be taken by ambulance and be checked out, or if you want to be taken by a colleague to the station, like it seems like that's kind of the protocol. So he's kind of diving in a little bit here as to what normally would take place. And as for his career and what his professionalism is in this, has said it's a little bit awkward, or very awkward, for him to just immediately say, get me off the scene here, without speaking to a goddamn person.
And they'll do the talking, but rarely does unless they're going directly to the hospital. Now, I don't know if that's where he directly went.
That may be right. Yeah.
Okay.
He did go to the hospital, so maybe that's what happened.
Okay. Well, Well, then if you go to the hospital, that is an exception.
What did he go to the hospital for? What the fuck did he go to the hospital for? Was he out of breath because he chased out of the vehicle from the woman that he just shot? Because it certainly wasn't being from run over like Donald Trump says, right? Not a fucking limp in sight, not a problem with the guy in sight. So I have a little trouble believing anything that comes out of that. It might be a good excuse that he thought of at the moment to be like, hey, maybe I should be rushed to the hospital. That'll be a good excuse to get me off the fucking scene here, right? But as to whether or not he actually needed, it seems like he was, if he did go, was released pretty fucking quick with no boot, with no fucking crutches. You know what I mean? There was nothing. No, he was just run over, but no injury. Yeah, that's believable.
Well, normally you stay at the scene, but if you go to the hospital, that is an exception, and that's normal.
That's presumably.
Karen, I haven't seen yet. I know it's been reported by more people than just what was said on Trump's outlet, but I don't know if they were just kind of reporting as to what Trump said, because that's a problem that we have now in today's media too, where one tweet will go out there and then the reports will be about the tweet without actually confirming what the tweet's about. You kind of get that? So people will kind of refer back to Donald Trump's Truth Social post in this, and they'll put the hospital part in their reporting without actually confirming whether or not it was actually there, but just kind of using Trump's Truth Social as the reference for them and the justification for adding that part to the headline or to the story. So I'm not 100% sure if there's been kind of proof yet that he went there, or what was treated for, or how long. But again, you can clearly see not much for him to be treated for by the videos that we can see, not only him running after the vehicle, but also after he checked on the vehicle and going the other way, where he kind of asked for a ride out of there. You know what I mean? Nothing. What the fuck's he going to be checked for?
What happened, because we know that he did at the hospital. Now, Trump claimed he was run over, which is absolutely not correct. And he said he's lucky he's alive. That is not a justification of any.
Well, at least Tim's willing to stipulate that. At least he's willing to go that far. I mean, based on the fact that we have like 47 different angles of what took place. Really, Tim Pool going off on a ledge here, really putting himself out there by saying that he didn't actually get run over by the vehicle, like Trump said.
Action taken by any individual, but the fact is Trump is wrong about this. Now, we're also seeing from the New York Times, they're claiming the officer wasn't, they're using manipulative language. They say it appears he was struck, but upon closer inspection, he wasn't run over, which is two completely distinct things. But before we get into the video, and then I'll ask you more about the prosecution stuff, I'm curious what you guys think about what you've seen so far.
Well, I watched it. I think it's difficult to. I
believe he says this kid is from Venezuela. Again, right hand up. I'm not familiar with who he is, and I believe there's also one other female guest who I'm kind of interested in what she has to say. I'm not too sure of this kid's background or the female's background, to be quite fair. But I'm more interested in what the female guest says rather than this kid, to be honest.
On the legal part, but just on the ethical part, whether it's right or wrong. You don't know what's going through their head. You don't know what the woman said. You don't know, whether.
Well, we do now, buddy. We do now. Now that we got the fucking cell phone footage from the actual guy that did the shooting, we do know what she was saying. And it wasn't, hey, I'm going to kill you. Hey, I'm going to run you over. You better get the fuck out of your way. No, it was, hey, I'm not mad at you.
Threatened the other officer, and so there's some reason to believe that she would have been violent. Clearly, it's obvious that nobody should have ever obstructed the law enforcement operation and rammed their car.
Nor if you saw the extent of all the footage, would you actually come to that conclusion, considering she was waving the cars past her. That's the footage that I see. She's trying to turn and the cars go past. So again, even to that extent, you can't even bring that up. There's ways we could refute that as well with video evidence, with footage. So I don't know what the fuck you're bringing that up for, unless, this is being filmed way before this kind of footage came out, which I highly doubt.
Into the operation. I mean, this is why this happened. But I do think it's a tragedy, regardless.
And just from the articles and videos that I've read and seen, it looks like murder to me, just based off of the position of the vehicle.
And again, I don't know her background, don't know her politics, not familiar with, why she's there or what she has to bring to the table. But again, Tim Pool guest quite clearly saying this looks like murder to me. And I'm just curious as to how Tim Pool kind of takes that on his show and tries to like regurgitate that to his listeners. Because what he tries to do anytime he's got like a lefty or anybody that disagrees with him on his channel, like it has to be run through the filter, right? It has to go through Tim and then through the other three dickheads before it can get to the listeners. That way they can dumb it down and kind of change the rhetoric before the listeners start to get too intelligent and too fucking knowledgeable on these situations. But she says it's murder to her.
Circumstances that the ICE officer was in and the woman was in. I'm not speaking to whether or not she should have been, turning away or trying to evade arrest, which is the impression that I got based on the video. I'm not speaking to whether or not he should have applied deadly force. He did apply deadly force. And so I think every single shot needs to be looked at and justified. And the first one does not look justified to me. The two subsequent ones, which my understanding is that she was shot in the head.
And she's right. She's 100% right in what she's talking about here. And I don't know if she's got some sort of law background or whatnot, but every single shot needs to be determined that there was justified, not just a single act. You don't just take it on the act on a whole, right? You got to look at every single individual time he pulled that trigger. Was he still in danger? Did he believe did he have reasonable knowledge to suspect that he was still in danger as he pulled the trigger the first, second, third time? And she's saying here, not even the first shot was justified in her view. So there's no possible way that the second and third shot could be justified, after that. It's just impossible.
The side window, not even the front, don't look justified at all to me. So that's where I land on this.
So what do you mean by murder?
What? I'm sorry, Tim. Are you that thick? Is the hat that tight? Do you need a new beanie? Has that one not been washed in a long time and now the fucking bacteria is slowly creeping into your scalp? What is murder? I'm going to say it's when one person takes the life of another person. I'm going to throw that out there on a limb. Is that close? Anybody? What do you mean by murder? What do you mean by a car? What do you mean by that? Like when you say murder, what do you mean by that? I'm going to say because he took out his weapon, he unholstered his weapon and discharged that weapon, using the ammunition in the firearm that goes through the glass and into the woman. That's what happened. So that's murder. So when he pulls that trigger and she's no longer alive, that would be considered murder. That's what she's referencing in that, because it's not justified. It's not a justified act. Therefore, she's classifying it as a murder. See how stupid he has to dumb himself down to be? Like, what's murder? What do you mean by murder? I don't get what you mean. That's crazy.
Unjustified, unlawful killing of an individual purposefully.
So you're thinking
she's just like, bang. What do you mean, what is murder? It's this, you dumbass.
Looked at and justified. Ready? And the first one does not look justified to me. The two subsequent ones, which my understanding is that she was shot in the head through the side window, not even the front, don't look justified at all to me. So that's where I land on this.
So what do you mean by murder?
The unjustified, unlawful killing of an individual purposefully.
So you're thinking.
Any other questions, Tim? Is that clear enough for you? Do you want to pull out the Webster's? Because I'm pretty sure she may have just recited it word for word, verbatim, in what it says in the Webster's. So are you clear? Before we go on, I just want to make sure we're clear on the verbiage of what we're going to be discussing on this, just so there's no more questions like, what do you mean by murder? Because that really threw me for a loop on that one. What do you mean by murder? I don't know. Hold on. Do you want me to draw a fucking picture? How many words do I get?
You should go to jail.
I do think you should go to jail, yes.
Okay.
So pretty clear, right? So again, I think that was the other guest there asking her, do you think he should go to jail? And she says very clearly, yes.
Where I land on this.
So what do you mean by murder?
The unjustified, unlawful killing of an individual purposefully.
So you think he should go to jail?
I do think you should go to jail, yes.
Okay.
So I'm curious what you think of murder.
With malice or forethought.
What Erin brought up is really important in that she separated the different shots. Now, the defense lawyers will try to say it's all one, boom, 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 happen, all of it, all at the same time. Now, is it 3 or 4 shots? That's one thing. 3, okay. Yeah. I do think that it's going to be tough to prosecute him on the first shot, especially if it went through the front of the window. The other shots, though, that go to the side, you see
Again,
her.
it's been proven a million fucking times that in no way, shape, or form do you necessarily need to be standing in front of that vehicle to make and do anything to make a bullet go through the windshield. You could clearly be standing on the side of the vehicle. You could clearly be standing over the hood. You could be standing to the side. You could be right at the headlight, right? You could be using your, like, it doesn't, there's so many different ways. And again, looking at the angle in which you can see and clearly shows that fucking bullet hole in the windshield doesn't look like somebody that would be standing in the direct line of fucking the path of that vehicle to create that angle at all.
Driving away, the wheels have turned. That is not a threat to the police officer. So I do think if you're going to prosecute him, you could have a better case on the subsequent shots when there was no real threat to the police officer.
Was it a threat?
So he basically agrees. The only thing that he kind of differs on is that first shot. And I don't even think he necessarily said that, like, he disagrees that it wasn't justified, but he's just saying it's going to be very difficult in his mind. And he's taking this on, obviously, as a lawyer in a law, in a law aspect on how difficult it's going to be to prosecute that. But he's, definitely in line with those second and third shots where he was clearly, there's absolutely no justification, no video footage to even suggest he's in front of that vehicle still at the time where he unloaded the second and third shots that more than likely were the kill shots. I don't know if that's been determined yet either, but in my opinion, I'll stipulate, I believe that it was the second or the third, if not both, that actively, ended this situation the way that it ended.
To other people?
I don't think so. He would, by the way, if it was
There was a woman
threat.
standing to the right of the vehicle.
Right, but what was
that? Was her girlfriend, Tim. That was her girlfriend, and in no way was she in any danger, right? Now he's trying to use her girlfriend as, again, justification. Like, the officers were trying to save the life of her girlfriend now, and that's why they opened fire. That's, I think, what Tim's trying to get across on this one. Well, there was a lady on the other side.
Was she really going to be run over by this car?
No, she wasn't.
Well, that's
Yes,
going to
you
be the
can.
defense, saying that I was defending myself and others. But
but also he's not a normal person.
So to defend others in that area, you discharge your firearm. Again, where there's protesters around, where there's people on the sidewalk, where you have other colleagues possibly on the other side of the vehicle that you couldn't see. So in order to save the public, to maintain public safety, you discharge your firearm in a public street with, again, bystanders, a big crowd around. We're supposed to believe that is okay.
A law enforcement officer, so he will claim qualified immunity.
Right, but if you can show that he acted unreasonably, so unreasonably that you could triumph for murder.
But qualified immunity pertains to civil. I understand, right?
Also federally.
So basically what he says here, even with the qualified immunity, you can still, if you can prove that he acted with such malice, right, then you can still charge him with murder. He could still be prosecuted. Whether or not that's going to happen, again, that's a far cry, and I'm sure that's not likely to be seen, especially with who we know is controlling these agencies at the moment. But again, that's something to think about.
State to prosecute a federal officer, the federal officer is going to say, I've got this sovereign immunity here, this federal immunity, and you can break through it, though.
So here's another video that I think this started going viral because it provides important context. And then we'll go through the actual video from Minnesota.
And we'll end on this one as far as this clip is concerned. This is kind of Tim's example that he's trying to use here. And again, he kind of contradicts himself in this moment using this clip. And then again, like I said, this is only about a minute long he tries to play. And then we'll hop off of this. We'll go on to our next clips. Maybe we'll hop into Jesse Ventura.
This is a woman who was killed in Baltimore. One second. She's standing in front of the vehicle. At 3 seconds, the vehicle accelerates.
Okay, first problem I see. Again, isn't it multiple agencies' policies to not put yourself in front of the vehicle like that? Again, thus creating the situation where you could be harmed and run over like that, right? Two, again, as Tim is about to point out, what would be so difficult of her right now to take 2 steps to the right and get herself out of the path of that vehicle while still maintaining, the line of sight in her firearm on the fucking suspect, right? So again, there's another aspect of that.
At 4 seconds, she's dead. What should she have done?
This is a different scenario. This was in a cul-de-sac. She was backed into a corner. She had nowhere to go.
No. She's not. She could walk away from that car right now.
So listen to Tim. She could walk away from that car right now. Listen to what he's saying. He's giving arguments against why he's bringing up this video.
But the car, like she is facing, like that car could not reverse. That
No. Hold on.
Wait, are we not in a cul-de-sac here or not?
So it is a cul-de-sac, it appears,
Okay.
but the exit is behind her. Egress is behind her. She's standing to the left side.
So she's basically, let's just, to kind of stipulate, she's right at the driver's side headlight. I would even say that half her body might even be on the outside of the vehicle at this moment in time. But listen to Tim, how he's talking about this.
Front of the vehicle. She could take 2 steps to her right now, to clear herself from this vehicle, knowing
she could take 2 steps to the right now to clear herself from the vehicle. Now, is he given that information? Did he make that stipulation? Is he saying that about what happened in Minneapolis? Did he say that about the ICE officer that opened fire on the U.S. citizen? Did he say it would have been very easy for him to A, not put himself in that position to begin with, if he had proper training, and B, to get himself out of that position instead of A, filming on his fucking camera, and then B, taking the time to stop filming on his camera and then fucking pull out his firearm, right? And all that time, don't you think he could have continued along and been standing along with his fucking colleagues who are, again, on the driver's side of the vehicle in no fucking harm's way whatsoever? Is that not reasonable that we could suspect that guy could have done in that instance? So he's, again, bringing up more evidence that pushes back on his theory. Like, I don't know why he put this fucking video in his footage. I have no clue, but it's not doing what he think it's doing.
Suspect is in it, and she's got her weapon aimed at him. Now she's dead, and people are highlighting this, saying, when you're an officer tasked with stopping somebody who's committed crime, presumably the obstruction.
But again, we don't know the aspect. We don't know the circumstances of this. Was this person wanted for abuse? Was this person suspected of having a deadly weapon? Right? Was this person just wanted for fucking murder? What is the circumstances here? Because again, you could probably do a one-to-one connection, and we could probably see how that doesn't relate to, again, Renee Good and what she was fucking, wanted for questioning, or, again, even just because her vehicle was the wrong way in the street or whatever the fuck. It's not the same thing, Tim. But it's not doing what he thinks it's doing.
By, and I say presumably because there's no trial for this, Renee Good, this is felony obstruction of a federal law, 8 USC 1357. So when they say we're
bull fucking shit, and how are you going to get somebody that's clearly on camera waving vehicles past in an obstruction case? How the fuck is that going to be possible? How is this? Please go around. Yep, go ahead. Letting you go. And she's saying that to the exact vehicle that these officers actually hopped out of. Like, she's like, hey, go ahead. Letting you go. How is that obstruction? You fucking moron.
Going to stop you and arrest you, and you decide to accelerate. The question is, if you find yourself in front of the vehicle, should you let the perpetrator escape, or is the law enforcement duty to tell them to stop and brandish a weapon?
The policy within the Department of Justice and DHS is that you don't stand in front of a vehicle and put yourself.
Bang. Done deal. The policy is you don't put yourself in front of the vehicle to begin with. So you don't have to fucking figure out that situation. Yeah, case closed on that one. So you violated policy that way. And again, tragedy, nothing against the woman. Again, if that is the way that tragically ended the way that Tim says it ended, then horrific, tragic situation. But again, there's clear-cut instances and policies to keep people safe and not put yourself in those circumstances to make with those split-second decisions and potentially get hurt yourself. So again, here's the lawyer quite clearly saying that it's policy A, to not put yourself in that position, and B, you don't fire on a fucking a fleeing vehicle or a moving vehicle anyway. C, especially if you have the opportunity, like Tim Pool clearly pointed out, that you have the ability to get fucking out of the way before any of that happens, regardless. Right? Fucking nuts. And again, I don't want to do too much of Tim Pool to dumb everybody down too much, but just to see that he had a couple people on pushing back on him, and he didn't do too well in the argument, especially with the video clip he pulled up. Like, that doesn't do, again, you're going against what you're saying here in Minneapolis. I don't know what you thought you were going to do in that one, but it didn't quite go down the way you thought, Timmy Pool. But let's dive into a little bit of this, because this is another aspect, another video people are talking about. Jesse the Body coming out, laying the smackdown on the Trump administration, on Republicans, just telling it as it is. I guess he was visiting his alma mater, was very happy at the way that they kind of shunned ICE, wanted to pay his respects, wanted to come say and show how proud he was of his alma mater there. I don't know. Was it like a middle school or something? He's talking about it like it's his college. Is it a college or a middle school? I forget. I'm not 100% sure now the way it was reported. But let's dive into this, because there's a couple good instances, a couple good clips that stem from this. So let's just dive right into it. I appreciate you guys again. This is Jesse the Body Ventura, a former governor of Minnesota, talking about and giving his opinions on about the recent actions of ICE. Let's dive into it. High school. Evie's on says high school. All right. Yeah, I thought it was, but it's just the way he, the way he's speaking about it is the way that most people speak about their college, right? The place that they went to college. And I love that he has this passion for his high school and other schools, I'm sure, but it's just, it kind of caught me by surprise. I thought it was going to be like his college.
No, I'm just saying, as a graduate of Roosevelt High School and as the former governor of Minnesota, I'm so proud of Roosevelt High School and how they stood up for what is supposed to be America and freedom. And freedom is not arresting people without warrants. We have a system here. It's called a Constitution. And we have a party, the Republicans, who don't seem to want to abide by the Constitution. January 6th is a prime example of that. And now they're all free and they're in charge. You know what? Maybe it's time for Jesse. I only did one term. I'm owed a second.
Mr. Ventura, can you remind us, you went to school here?
I went to school here. I'm a 1969 graduate of Minneapolis Roosevelt. I'm proud of them for what they did. They made me proud as an alumni. Go Teddies.
What are your thoughts? I know we're jumping in, probably doubling up on some of his questions, but what are some of your thoughts about what unfolded yesterday? And then after that, what you saw?
Well, I've told you already, we're a country of the Constitution. We have leadership now that has destroyed the Constitution. They don't follow it. They could care less about it. Am I right or wrong? I took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I view after January 6th, the Republican Party is a domestic enemy to our Constitution. I can't get any bolder than that, can I?
And you obviously saw the video that the student shot outside here, and that obviously elicited a lot of emotions for you. Just watching
What do you mean
that,
the student shot?
there were some students who shot the video of the chaos here yesterday.
No, I
Nice.
didn't even
Oh,
see
you didn't
it.
see it? Okay, I thought you
didn't
did.
see it.
Okay.
The only thing I've seen is the murder.
So talk about, you were a student here. When did you graduate?
1969.
Have you been back here? Talk about that. Is this like first time back?
No, came back to homecoming 2 years ago.
Let me see. He goes on in a little bit too. Let me just dive headed.
You remember that? The old University of Minnesota. That's where they used to.
Wanted to do it at the school here today.
I just came here today to show my support as a graduate of Roosevelt and tell them how proud I was of what they did of keeping ICE off of this campus. This is a place of learning. And you learn.
No Money G. Yeah, what's up, brother? Appreciate that. Brian Alpha News on X just released leaked cell phone footage of Ross offing good his angle. Yeah, we just played that. We just dove into a little bit of the Aaron Parnas video where he kind of showed that footage too. So you can dive back into after this is posted. Just go back and check out the clip of us checking out Aaron Parnas video, and that clip is in it where we go over that as well. No Money G. Appreciate that contribution. Appreciate you being here, my man.
And you learn things like the Constitution. You learn about warrants. You learn about things of that nature. And what we're getting right now is violating all that, what kids are being taught. You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf, right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here.
And again, say what you will, say what you want, and I'm sure people have a lot of opinions about the body, and a lot of them probably rightfully so. But again, in this instance, as per a lot of people that, you could go back and look at some bad takes that they've had, some money that they've taken from some bad groups, some disagreements and big disagreements that we've had, but a lot of people seeing this for what it is. Right. A lot of people seeing this footage, seeing the reaction to it, seeing the lies and the propaganda by the Republican, and they're seeing it and calling it out for what it is. Listen to what you just said. And as the comment said, Jesse called it an outright murder, made no distinction, absolutely no fucking other words used. Wasn't an option. He called it what it was, as are a lot of fucking, again, sane people, intelligent people that watched this footage, saw this action, can see the footage for what it was, can see the fucking circumstances for what it was, and how it absolutely should have never gotten to that point. But because we have masked men being unleashed with body armor, with fucking weapons, this is the the end result. This is what can happen and what we're going to see happen more and more on a day-to-day basis. Again, as the population starts acting continuously like this, we'll go live. Let's see if are they still here. Ready? Check this out. Here's the Mercado live stream. Is it still going? Yes, it is. This is outside of the footage was right there. Let me see if I can stop it on what's that? Yeah, the Bishop Henry Whipple Federal Building in Minneapolis. So again, this is still ongoing. Again, if you're checking out any of the live streams, this is just from Mercado Media. I know he's had his going. I'm sure there's multiple. But again, as more and more people show their outrage, and again, a lot more and more of these unstable, fucking untrained individuals with weapons are out there, who knows the type of reactions that you're going to get. You know what I mean? So just be careful out there for sure. How much time we got? We got about 40 minutes left. So what do we dive right into? What do we dive right into? A little bit of this one. Let's dive into this one because there's probably a couple we're not going to get to, but just for the sake of time, this is again going back to the JD Vance clip that we watched yesterday that pretty much made it clear that this guy, this fucking Jonathan Ross guy should have never been back on active duty, considering the trauma that he went through when he apparently was dragged in his in a previous mission that he was tasked with. But this is Jen and Pumps just kind of breaking down the hysteria of JD Vance's video during the White House presser. So again, just a little bit of confirmation and corroboration to what we were talking about yesterday. So let's dive into this if I can, and then we'll go into the Russian tanker. I want to definitely dive into that story, as well as maybe taking a look at this asshole sitting down with Sean Hannity. But that remains to be seen. Let's dive into this one at least. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 20K. It's only with your help that we're going to get there. I very much appreciate you guys. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the best chat on earth. I very much appreciate it. Let's dive into it.
He is truly the worst human being. He's the worst husband I've ever seen. And that's just my personal opinion. I think he treats his wife like shit. He doesn't seem to advocate for mixed race families and the sensitivities of the rising bigotry in this country right now. I mean, he doesn't seem like that big of a protector to that, which is really interesting to me and cruel. On top of all of the weird shit, he is hysterical and
one sec, I just saw this go by. Kevin Lease says, and appreciate you for the comment, buddy. Appreciate you watching. Says, has anyone seen the footage of the ICE agents stopping and kicking a memorial left for Renee Good and taunting protesters? Is that a fucking thing? ICE kicks memorial. Let's see if that pulls it up, because that would be fucking atrocious. Let's see here. Kicks Renee Good. Let's see if that pulls it up. Memorial.
Really, you fucking punk? That's what you're gonna fucking do?
What?
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 What? Do you know what
Back
the fuck
up.
is that is for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that
I don't
for?
give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck about
Back
her?
up.
Bro, this is why we're here.
Back up.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
What's her name? Renee Good?
Back up.
And you fucking, that's a memorial to her. That's a memorial to her. No, it's good. You're a fucking coward.
Fuck you guys.
You're a
You
piece
guys
of
are
shit.
Nazis.
You fucking proud
Shame
of
on
yourself?
you guys.
Let's go back to the beginning here.
Really, you fucking punk? That's what you're gonna fuck.
So you can see Renee Good on the ground. Looks like he was kicking over some candles. What looked like maybe, what was that? A piece of chalk left behind from when they were drawing it, maybe?
Really, you fucking.
Tough to tell what he's kicking. Oh no, it's another candle. He's literally kicking candles. That motherfucker. That motherfucker. Let me get out. I am out of the way so you guys can see it. This motherfucker. Now, where was this? Does this say where it was? Let me see. Like exactly.
That's
Hold
what
on.
you're gonna fucking do?
What?
Let's see. This says a law enforcement agent was caught on video kicking candles for Memorial Vigil honoring Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old woman fatally shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis a day after. The footage quickly spread online, intensifying public anger and grief as protests continued over the killing. The incident has fueled accusations of disrespect, deepened tensions between authorities and the community members, demanding accountability and justice for Good. So not 100% sure the exact location of this, but I'd very much appreciate you for bringing this to my attention. No, I did not see this clip. That's wild. I'll let it play just one more time so we can finish it out.
What?
What?
What? Do you know what the fuck is that is for? What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that
I don't
for?
give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck about
Back
her?
up.
Bro, this is why we're here.
Back up.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
What's her name? Renee Good?
Back up.
And you fucking, that's a memorial to her. That's a memorial to her. No, it's good. You're a fucking coward.
Fuck you guys.
You're a
You
piece
guys
of
are
shit.
Nazis.
You fucking proud
Shame
of
on
yourself?
you guys. Fucking shame on you
You're a
guys.
fucking punk. Really?
Go and put your fuck
That's what they fucking want to do.
Have a good time, Mr. Chubby, guys.
You're a little bitch.
Fuck you guys.
I'm that fucking badger, a coward, you little
You guys
cock.
are going to hell.
Renee Good is a mother that is standing up for our rights and was murdered.
She was a
Why the
legal
fuck?
observer.
Why we're here is because of cowards like you.
Do you guys not realize?
Unreal. Unreal.
All hell is
I
breaking
appreciate
loose
you
in
bringing-
Minnesota as cell phone footage has.
Shut up. And then we go back here. All right. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I really do appreciate that. But no, I hadn't seen that. And again, you wonder why the outrage is as bad and as prevalent as it's been, not only yesterday and the days prior, but also continuing today in the reaction from the American people. I mean, that just goes to show you right there how much they care, or again, don't care about the American citizens that they're supposed to be out there serving and protecting, but doing anything but those fucking things.
Hinged and not presidential and or vice presidential. I mean, I don't know if he's on drugs or if this is just his default setting. It's hard to know who JD Vance is because, as Pumps points out all the time, he's changed his name 3 times. He's changed his religion 3 times. He told his Meemaw when he was a little boy he thought he was gay. You know, there's unsubstantiated rumors that he has a penchant for screwing couches. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's on Elon Musk's free speech website. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't throw that little tidbit in. But here he is lying to the American public in the most Nazi fascist style propagandistic way imaginable. When the federal government executed an innocent mom, she dropped her
I think
child.
there was a distinct way in which he removed them, though, right? I think there's probably a respectful way in which you could, again, get a memorial out of the way if indeed you need to be using that at that moment. Didn't look like any vehicles were coming in or out of that at the moment. But again, there's probably a respectful way if you did care, if you did have some sympathy or empathy and compassion for what happened, where you could kind of maybe move that little vigil, move that little memorial to the side. If again, indeed, that was, supposed to be being used by the, as a driveway or whatever it was. I mean, it doesn't look like it wasn't. I'm sure you could be right in some aspect, but I didn't see any vehicles coming in or out at that time, nor did it mean that you need to go over there and just kick over, again, a vigil of some candles for a lady, a U.S. citizen that was just murdered, right? I mean, that's just not a way that you need to treat that. There's ways in which you could go about it. The same way in which you could talk about there's ways that you could approach the fucking situation that led to this, right? That same fucking dickheadness, that same fucking I don't care and let me not act like a fucking respectful human being is what led to this situation. Let me just act like a thug. Let me just act like nobody can tell me what to do, like I have all the power in the world. And that's exactly why we're in this fucking position.
Child off from school, was turning back down her street. The roads are icy. She's kind of sideways. She's trying to pull out. She motions for some cars to go ahead. And then these jacked up, low T, pink arm terrorists from ICE start charging towards her car, demand that she get out. And you can hear on the tape, she says, I'm pulling out. I'm pulling out. She starts turning her car to the right, telling them, and this guy's aggressively, get out of your fucking car.
And I haven't heard too many people talk about that aspect. I've heard a lot of people on the right try to justify and be like, well, he can't see the wheels of the vehicle. He doesn't know that they're turning. No, you can't see, again, the woman that you have a clear line of sight of turning the fucking wheel of the vehicle to the opposite direction in which you, again, could walk to or are even standing in at that particular moment. I mean, it's clear that he should be able to see. If you can fire through the windshield, you can probably see that the lady was turning the fucking that she was turning the steering wheel, right? I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult to process that. Yes, okay, she's turning right. I'm on this side. Clearly, she's not coming after me.
Which would be terrifying to have a masked agent approach you like that. And we all know that we've seen reporting that rapists and sexual offenders have acted like ICE agents to abuse women and or rape women.
I'm just going to go ahead just a second here, just again for the sake of time, because I know we're running out, because they do dive into a little bit of JD Vance's little fucking tantrum that he threw. So let's see if we can dive into that real quick so I can break that down.
Play the clip.
Tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question.
The investigation is still ongoing.
I said next question.
Pumps. What a titty baby. I mean, just what a pussy. You're sitting up there lying and then you're mad about people questioning you.
I don't know if they go on to show more from that either, but I don't think that's the most prominent part from that. Let me see. Are there any other moments? Yeah, they do play this. Let me see if this is the moment. And then before we go on, let me see this one.
Executed by a unhinged, pink arm, low T terrorist ICE thug. Play the clip.
In the red tie, yeah.
Vice President Vance, I wanted to ask, what's your message to far leftist agitators who feel emboldened to obstruct ICE activity in Minnesota and around the country?
Well, I think they shouldn't feel emboldened because now they have an assistant attorney general who is going to prosecute and investigate their fraud and their violence more aggressively than it has ever been investigated.
So again, I don't even think that's the most prominent part that they should be showing. Let me see again. Do they go on and play this clip?
The past 6 months, he has been hit twice by a motor vehicle. One time,
Pause right there.
It led to over 30.
So I'm curious what they say. I want to see if what they say kind of matches up to what I was thinking when I heard this yesterday. And you guys watched the show, so I'm kind of curious as to where we stand. I'm trying to line myself up with another account that has several million followers as to my little, channel that could with the 15,000 amazing individuals that we have here. So just curious where we stand and if you're getting your money's worth here at Blunt Politics.
Pause right there and let's leave this up. Number one, he just said a prayer, which lets everybody say a prayer. That is classic Christian signaling. And I want to keep inserting this into our programming because this is what this administration does. They Christian signal.
Prayer? Did I miss that one? Hold on, let me see if I go back. What was the prayer he said?
Listen to this, his take on this.
And they can follow up. I will say, look, I would appreciate everybody saying a prayer for that agent. Look, in the past 6 months, he has been hit twice by a motor vehicle. One time,
pause right there.
It led to skip ahead because we just heard this, but I'm curious if they bring up the aspect in which he's talking about, hey, this guy's been in traumatic situations and we should give him a break for the way he discharged his weapon in a public street. Like maybe we should have done more protocol and more actions to determine that this guy was psychologically and physically capable of again, handling a fucking firearm in a chaotic situation with people around and whistles and screaming and yelling after what he supposedly has been through in the past. Right. That was the determination that I came to from what I heard in JD Vance's comments. It's like, okay, somebody's ass is on the line. Somebody that signed off on this guy getting back in the line of duty is really fucking going to pay the price, or should pay the price, I should say. Because clearly this guy should have never been given his gun back. Clearly this guy should have never gotten his badge back. Maybe he should still be in some fucking treatment. Maybe that should still be being taken care of by the DHS, whatever the fuck it is. It seems like he still got some psychological issues and some mental issues that he needed to work through. Again, being put in a traumatic situation, a situation that's chaotic in which you have to make split-second decisions based on, the surroundings and what's happening around you. Is that a fair assessment based on what JD Vance is now trying to say a prayer for the guy? Fuck you. How about say a prayer for Renee? Say a prayer for fucking Renee Good, who was shot in the face by this, again, unhinged lunatic that apparently should have never been back on the job after he was so fucking traumatically fucked up by his last incident that he was involved in. And again, maybe they go on to this and I'll let them talk, but that's kind of the assessment that I drew from this.
Because this is what this administration does. They Christian signal, we're going to say a prayer for him. And that lets all of the MAGA Christians go, oh, okay, now God is in the room. And what he's asking everyone to do is say a prayer for a man who just shot a woman in cold blood, and then follows up with, this man, this officer, has been involved in 2 incidents. I don't know about you, Pumps, but in the world that I live in, it would be like, is he the common denominator in fucking up these ICE raids? It seems like he's always finding himself in violent trouble. So maybe if you would have done a thorough investigation the first time he was injured and acting like an unhinged crackhead, then maybe this woman, Renee Nicole Good, would still be alive. Okay, continue the clip.
Stitches and very serious injuries to his.
A little fucking tootage. If I can tootage just a little bitage. This is, again, a channel with 1.5 million subscribers. And again, the accurate assessment that they just gave, you could also get here the day prior on Blunt Politics. And just, again, a little tutelage of the hornage as we continue.
To his legs. This is a guy who's actually done a very, very important job for the United States of America. He's been assaulted, he's been attacked, he's been injured because of it. He deserves a debt of gratitude. And I think the media prejudging.
He's telling you, give him a break for the fucking traumatic instances that, again, led to him discharging his weapon and killing a U.S. citizen. That's what the vice president of the United States is now getting us. Wants you to believe, wants you to think, wants the American people to actually take along with their fucking daily lives and be like, oh, no, that was totally okay. Everything was tip-top shape, no, above board. All policies were followed. Not a damn thing. Nothing to look, nothing to see here. Kind of like the Epstein files, right? Just look the other way. Say a prayer, and we'll get out of this okay. And the other end is what he wants you to believe.
And talking about this guy as if he's a murderer is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen from the American media.
Negative. It's actually just something that people clearly see with their own eyes. Again, knowing what we know, doing the due diligence and seeing what the policies of the DOJ are. Again, doing the due diligence and looking at all the angles, right? Doing the due diligence and hearing the audio. Again, doing the due diligence and looking at the circumstances on the whole, as opposed to, again, that split second that should have never have gotten to that point anyways. Because you're not doing anybody justice by not looking at the fact that could have been avoided 7 ways to fucking Sunday. And again, just putting yourself in the aspect of that one split second and being like, oh, okay, everything's justified there is just a fucking inhumane, ridiculous way to look at this situation. It really is.
Yeah.
Bitch, please. You're the most disgraceful thing in front of the media. Shut the fuck up. It's disgraceful to believe your eyes. Is that where we are now?
Right,
It is. They want you to think that this woman instigated her own death. And I'm with you. If you get in two, violent incidents in 6 months,
right,
you're the problem.
You're the common denominator.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just stupid. He's just.
And to tell people,
and again, not for the sake of time, we don't have to dive too deeply into that. I was just curious at their reaction to that press conference to see if they kind of got the same thing out of it that I did, which they very much did. So I appreciate their coverage. I appreciate them taking the time out. But let's dive into, again, just for the sake of time, let's dive into a little bit of this about the Russian oil tanker that was seized. And I know this is not breaking news by any stretch of the imagination, but again, because of the ongoing coverage of what had taken place in Minneapolis and also the ongoing protests around the country, we've been obviously focusing upon that. But while we have the time here remaining, what do you say we dive into this Preston Stewart video? Russia backs down as U.S. seizes ship. So this is a little bit of insight and information about the seizing of the oil tanker and also what's kind of happened diplomatically since that. All right. So, and again, this was a tanker that was being shadowed by the U.S. by I think it was for like a week and a half. They also had a Russian submarine trailing this. I don't think it was within like close proximity, and it obviously didn't interdict or do anything during the interception. But again, this could have gone a lot of different ways. So let's take a look at this incident and see maybe where this is going to lead. Let's check it out. Well, let me put it on your screen first because that might help. All right, appreciate you guys.
It seized a Russian oil tanker, prompting some in Moscow to label this an act of war that needs to be met with a military response. Now, personally, I would say this shows that when they're actually confronted by the U.S., Russia backs down. Now, this comes alongside news from President Zelensky that bilateral security.
And guys, wait till you guys get a load. You're getting a little bit of a look at it now, but wait till you get a look at this beautiful, well-maintained, freshly painted Russian oil tanker. And, just look at the beautiful ships they have in their shadow fleet. Oh, boy, it's beautiful.
Between the United States and Ukraine are ready to be signed by President Trump. Now, diving into the ship seizure yesterday, Reuters reports, quote, The United States seized a Russian-flagged oil tanker that was being shadowed by a Russian submarine on Wednesday after pursuing it for more than 2 weeks across the Atlantic as part of Washington's efforts to block Venezuelan oil exports. It appeared to be the first time in recent memory that the U.S. military has seized a Russian-flagged vessel. The Marinera, originally known as Bella 1, had previously slipped through a U.S. maritime blockade of
That
sanctioned.
fucking thing. How that thing's even floating, I don't know. How is that thing above the water? I mean, that fucking thing looks like it's been used and abused more than fucking Kimberly Gargoyle. I mean, that has transformed from its original state more than the fucking ladies at Fox News. Look at that thing. How is that floating? Looks like it has already been struck with mines and torpedoes. Like, that is just terrible looking.
Tankers in the Caribbean and rebuffed U.S. Coast Guard efforts to board it. Now, our understanding is as this vessel moved across the Atlantic, the crew of the Bella 1 painted a Russian flag on the side, and around that time, this ship showed up in a Russian ship register as the renamed Marinera. Now, Russian military vessels were reportedly in the vicinity during the operation, including a Russian submarine. It's not clear how close they were.
And this is going on at the same time as this, just to kind of drive this home. This is going on at the same time as this. Ukraine hits another Shadow Fleet tanker off the Turkish coast. So fucking Russia's having a tough time of it lately with these Shadow tankers going on. So the attack occurred off the coast of Inobulu, a port town of Turkey's, Black Sea coast. According to Reuters, the tanker was struck by what maritime sources described as a drone while sailing through international waters. Russian state TV broadcaster NTV confirmed the attack on the Russian-linked vessel, and here's kind of pinpointing that as well. And again, just the ongoing attacks that we've seen take part in not only the oil infrastructure, but also the oil trade, the Shadow Fleet, and that goes along with the news here that another one has been kind of seized here by the United States, and we'll continue with this.
Took place, but most of the reports I've seen have the Russian naval vessels a full day away. So there's no indication that there's any sort of standoff, if you will, between U.S. and Russian military assets here. Now, U.S. European Command put out a statement explaining exactly what happened here, saying the Justice Department and Homeland...
The Justice Department and DHS government, in coordination with the Department of War today, announced the seizure of the MV Bella 1 for violations of U.S. sanctions. The vessel was seized in the North Atlantic pursuant to warrant issued by a U.S. federal court after being tracked by U.S. Coast Guard Monroe.
Security. In court, U.S. supports President Trump's proclamation targeting sanctioned vessels that threaten the security and stability of the Western Hemisphere. The operation was executed by DHS components with support from the military, showcasing a whole-of-government approach to protect the homeland.
Now, what was the Russian response? I'm sure you're wondering. So how are they going to respond to this? I think he goes on here.
Now, the Russian responses here were pretty wild. The government was relatively muted, saying this is not okay. We don't accept this. But when you get into some of the Russian military and political commentators, they're outright calling this an act of war, saying it needs to be met with force. But before diving into the Russian responses, a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me. So if you've ever been on an app or a website...
My apologies. I don't do ads on my channel. Never will, never have, not going to do it. All right, here we go.
The landing by U.S. troops on a civilian vessel in open sea and its actual seizure, as well as the capture of the crew, cannot be interpreted as anything but a massive violation of the fundamental principles and norms of international maritime law, and also freedom of navigation. Now, quick note on the crew. Russia has demanded that the crew be returned to their home of record, suggesting that it's Russia. I would actually be kind of surprised if the crew here is Russian. Most of the crews on these international vessels are just from all over the place, including a lot of third world countries.
Then why the reporting? Why the reporting of them literally painting the Russian flag on the side of the vessel, and actually at the same time it now showing up in the Russian registry? You know what I mean? It just seems weird that they would do that if they weren't from Russia. Why they would take the time as a U.S. Coast Guard cutter is fucking trailing them for a week and a half to paint the Russian flag on the side of it just seems a bit odd.
For folks to earn money, a good living, and send that back home. Maybe these end up being Russians, but in all likelihood, they are not. Now, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said that the people on the crew on this ship have the possibility of facing criminal charges back here in the United States. So
that'll be wild. We'll see what Russia does to that one, right? We'll see how Russia reacts if these guys are going to be prosecuted in a court of law in the United States. But again, I'm dying to fucking dive and see what information we get into this one. You know what I mean? And I guess we do have about 15 minutes left. And I know you guys aren't going to be too happy about this. But again, if we do get some insight into what the fuck he's talking about and who's going to be running Venezuela, it might be it. And again, we don't have too much time to dive into too much of it anyway. So what do you say? We throw this on the screen, bear with me, and let's see what the fuck we can get out of this. Because this was just put up on Fox last night, I believe, or yesterday at some point. And this is talking about how Trump reveals plans for governorship of Venezuelan. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Trump reveals plans for governorship of Venezuelan. Is that English? Like, did somebody from Venezuela write that? I don't know. I'm not sure. Doesn't make good English to me, but let's see if it makes good English to this asshole. And again, maybe we'll just get through a minute of this before we get too sick of it.
Quite a bit of decorating since I've been here.
Well, I have.
Great to see you, sir.
I didn't know it was.
Whoa! Did you guys see that? Holy shit. Did you see his arm drop? Watch Donald Trump's. Can I slow this down? Yeah, I can slow it down. Let me see. Watch Donald Trump's arm drop as he goes to shake Sean Hannity's hand here. Watch this. Ready?
Quite a bit of decorating since I've been here.
Well, I have.
Great to see you, sir.
Watch the drop, like watch how Sean Hannity's hand comes away like directly as it went, and watch Donald Trump's right hand. It like almost falls to the ground.
I didn't know.
See how he can't even hold it up there? Watch one more time. Watch this.
Well, I have.
Great to see you, sir.
I didn't know.
Do you see that? It's almost like he catches it on his leg. It's almost like his elbow catches on his leg. It's the only thing that stops his arm from fucking falling to the ground. You see that? One more time. Sorry.
Well, I have.
Great to see you, sir.
I didn't know it was a full.
It's like he doesn't have the strength to hold up his hand. I'll play it at full speed. Let's play it at regular speed now, and you can watch it real time. But it doesn't look to me like he has the strength to keep his hand open, right? Hold on, let me see if I can make it normal speed. Normal speed. We'll go back to this one more time. Just watch it. Check it out.
Quite a bit of decorating since I've been here.
Well, I have.
Great to see you, sir.
I didn't know it was a
See
full
that?
hour. It was going to be.
I mean, am I crazy? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
For 15 minutes. But you do that to me every once in a while.
I think I was pretty clear, but thank you for your time. We always appreciate it. There's really not much in the news, so there's not a real lot to talk about, but let's start with Venezuela.
Venezuela. Let's do that. Maybe it was Sean Hannity that typed this maybe it was him that put this title on there. Because if that's the way he says Venezuela, then maybe he did put Trump reveals plan for governorship of Venezuelan. Hold on. You want to try that one again, Sean? This is a big interview for you, so I know you want to get these words right. I know you're the whistler, right? Sean Hannity likes to whistle every time he speaks into a microphone. But one more time on that, Sean. What was that, Venezuela?
The news, so there's not a real lot to talk about, but let's start with Venezuela.
Venezuela. You guys have been to Venezuela. I mean, it's a beautiful country, Venezuela. All of these, I don't know who's ruling it right now, per se, but I mean, the beaches in Venezuela are some of the best beaches in the country of Venezuela. What the fuck was that, Sean? He wasn't even close.
Not much in the news, so there's not a real lot to talk about, but let's start with Venezuela. Narco terror.
Venezuela. What the fuck? Yeah, Roxanne. I think Roxanne has it right. Venezuela. Jesus Christ. He wasn't even close. No, between the two of them, they can't put together a fucking coherent sentence. This should be a great interview. We should get a lot of insight from this, though. Ton of shit going to come from how Donald Trump reveals plans for governorship of Venezuelan. As Sean Hannity's questioned him about Venezuela. I got to hear that one more time. I'm sorry. One more time.
Not a real lot to talk about, but let's start with Venezuela. Narco terror.
Venezuela. Oh my God. I got to get that fucking drop.
Indicted. Guy that we're losing 200 Americans a day to drugs.
Yeah.
Walk us through this decision in Venezuela.
Well, it wasn't a hard decision. Democrats wanted him and Republicans wanted him, and nobody.
Democrats wanted him? I'm sorry. What was that? What was that first little thing that you threw in there? Democrats wanted him? Democrats were instructing you to go into Venezuela to kidnap Nicolas Maduro and his wife? Okay. Who? Which one? Which one? Is there a one that you can name? Because they do have names, and if they're real, they should have a name associated with them. Can you give me one person in the Democratic Party associated with this right now that had instructed you to go in and get Maduro? I'd love to hear it.
Had what it takes to get him, or didn't want to get him. I don't know. Something happened, but he killed.
Something happened? Does he even know anymore? Wake up, Gramps. You're in an interview. We're asking questions here. Fucking snap out of it, Chief. Open those eyes.
Had what it takes to get him, or didn't want to get him. I don't know. Something happened, but he killed a lot of people. He sent a lot of bad people.
He's doing the old, like, if when you get tired, and those of us at an age where you could fucking relate to this, but during the day where you find yourself, your eyes getting a little droopy, your eyes getting a little heavy, maybe around the afternoon mark, but you kind of tend to try to raise your eyebrows, right? And that kind of gives you the illusion, like it gives you the feeling like your eyes are open a little more. Like that's what he was doing in that press conference when he announced this, and he was kind of falling asleep in the background. Like you could tell he was raising his eyebrows as high as possible to make it look like his eyes were staying open, but they're really not. Same thing he's doing here. Look at this. Open your eyes.
Country. He was emptied his prisons into the United States. He emptied his mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States, and did a lot of very bad things, but he was a big drug pusher. You see that because all the boats.
Now, if I was like the Nick Shirley type and I had like unlimited funds, I would go to Venezuela right now. And what I would do, and I would go and record in all of the prisons. I would record in all of the fucking insane asylums. I would record in all of the bullshit that he says. And I would be like, look it's funny that all of these are filled and they're all packed to capacity. It's funny that you say they sent them all to the United States, but meanwhile, this is what the actuality looks like on the ground. Like if I had unlimited funds and I could do that, I would take a trip to Venezuela right now and just show the hypocrisy of this guy and the stupidity of this guy.
Got down. They came out of Venezuela. A lot of drugs. There's a lot of boats and a lot of drugs. There are very few boats operating right now. It's almost no boats. You can't find any boats.
I don't think anyone would go.
Oh my God. Does he honestly believe he can't find boats off the coast of Venezuela right now? Does he think he got all the boats? He thinks he got all the boats. There's no fishermen. There's no boat traffic whatsoever anymore in Venezuela. He's got it all. That's what he wants you to believe. And Sean's buying it. Oh, okay.
Fishing in
Not a lot of people want to go fishing anymore. But we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water. And we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs, it's horrible. It's devastated families. You lose a child or a parent. I mean, parents are dying too with drugs. So we've done a really good job. We're knocking it down. The numbers are really getting.
Just a quick search here. I just said like how many people are employed in the fishing trade in Venezuela. First reports are more than 115,000, but that even sounds lower. Employed in the fishing sector in Venezuela, according to a 2025 BBC report citing a spokesperson for a local fishermen's council. They do tuna, makes up for 50 to 60% of the production. So again, he thinks he stopped all of the boats. Nobody fishes in Venezuela anymore. That's what the president of the United States just said in an interview on Fox News. That's what he wants you to believe. Nobody. Okay.
They're always going to be too high if you have one person, but they're going down just like the border. The border was a total mess for years. I did it the first time very quickly, and this time I did it even better because this was a bigger mess. This was a border like no other probably in the history of the world. There's never been a border like that when anybody could just walk into your country.
Again, no, not anybody could just walk into the country. That's fucking asinine.
Ostensibly really closed now.
Closed. They can't come in. And nobody comes. Nobody even tries.
Nobody wants to because of your ass. People have been like, you know what? Let's stay the fuck away from the United States while that maniacal fucking dictator's in charge. I don't need people at the airport going through my cell phone to look at the tweets that I put up 2-3 years ago to then confiscate my cell phone and put me in a fucking prison cell or send me to CCOT in fucking El Salvador. I don't think that's really something that people necessarily want to risk to come to this fucking shithole of a country right now while you're in charge. Just like, how New England and other places that depended on tourism have been fucked royally by that fucking tourism not coming in anymore from places like Canada, right? From other places all over the world that, again, people that have businesses set up rely on, whether it's during the holidays or during the busy seasons for whatever, particular business that they have set up. But again, this is all being destroyed, just like Donald Trump destroyed the fucking farmers in his first term, continues to do so in his second term, all along the same lines.
And the people in Texas, Arizona, all these places that are won by such big numbers, they are so happy with the border.
What's funny is the polling numbers that you can see also in those places, and also the special election results, and how the Democrats have been completely outperforming in regard to what they were seeing in past elections. Maybe you should probably look at those numbers a little bit more too, and not just what people that are bigoted and racist think about the border. That is costing us a fortune, and then again, wasn't wide open to begin with.
At homes that they weren't even able to live in their home. Every day, people were knocking on their door, every hour, and
every hour, people just knocking on your door. And since we closed that border, no more knocks. All the knocking on the doors have stopped. It has ceased. There's just people do not knock on doors anymore in America since Donald Trump closed the border.
It's just a great honor to be involved with it. The ICE and Border Patrol and all of the people have been so good. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem.
Yeah, they've been so great in killing American citizens and brutalizing American citizens and deporting American citizens and rounding up people with no criminal record, dragging pregnant women along the ground, brutally beating the father of Marines. Lots of things, again, like I said, rounding up U.S. citizens, making their life a living hell, detaining them for days, weeks. What else? There's a ton of things that you could say, but Donald Trump loves it all.
The people have done such an incredible job. You have no idea.
You've made a number of profound announcements and then a new announcement today. Announcement number one was 30 to 50 million barrels of oil that they will be handing over to you, and you will sell it on the market at market prices.
Yeah.
That money will be used for the people of Venezuela and the people of America.
Correct.
That money will be used for the people of Venezuela and the people of America. Now, again, for the America First crowd, does that sound like America First? Is that how you envisioned America First? Like, okay, let's take this oil, apparently, that you guys want, and let's split it between the Venezuelan people and the United States? Or is that even how you think that's going to go down? Do you think that Donald Trump is going to accurately take care of the Venezuelan people, or do you think he's going to hoard, and again, his rich billionaire fucking oil conglomerate buddies, or whoever's involved in this, the singer fucking cat, whatever his name is there, are they going to take all of this for themselves? You actually think any of this resources, any of this money is going to go back to the pockets of the Venezuelan people? You got another thing coming. And even if it does, you're guaranteed it's going to be stolen by the fucking, the people in charge, and it's never going to filter down to the Venezuelan people.
And you made an announcement yesterday that they will buy all of their goods from this country. Today, we learn that the holdovers, since Maduro's gone, have agreed to free all of the political prisoners.
Wait, he said what? Venezuela is going to buy everything from the United States? Is that what he just said?
From this country. That money will be used for the people of Venezuela and the people of America.
Correct.
You made an announcement yesterday that they will buy all of their goods from this country. Today, we learn that the holdovers, since Maduro's gone, have agreed to free all of the political...
It's the same fucking regime. It is the same people that were affiliated with Nicolas Maduro that are in charge now. What are we talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? And he goes on to talk about, like, oh, they've been so nice, they're just going to hand it over. What do you expect them to do? What the fuck do you expect them to do? You just went in and literally stole their fucking illegitimate leader, right? You killed over 100 people. And again, you get the fucking 20% of the U.S. Navy off the coast, and you're surprised that they're like, you got a gun to the head of Venezuela, and Donald Trump's surprised, and Sean Hannity's surprised that they're like complying in one way or another.
Prisoners.
Right.
It indicates they want peace with Donald Trump to me. How do you interpret it?
We asked them to do that, and they've been great. They really have been. I mean,
You quite literally have a gun to the head of these people. Like, what do you expect them? How do you expect them to react? Unbelievable, these fucking people. And luckily, in this case, we've run out of time, so we don't have any more time to fucking have that asshole on the screen. But just as far as, was there anything to be learned in this? And again, I'll have to sit down and watch that whole thing. But what the fuck he's talking about as far as revealing plans for the governorship of Venezuela, I don't know. Maybe he says at some point in the end of that, or in the later half of that. But I can guarantee it doesn't say anything fucking, very descriptive. I don't think he has any plans in place that he's coming out with just yet, let's just say. Because there's no chance that he has a next step already planned out for this. And there's no way that he's going to see a benefit for the Venezuelan people either. It's just absolutely not going to be possible. Not going to be possible. All right, let's get into thanking some incredible individuals for contributing to the show today. I really do appreciate you. And again, like I said, it's been and continues to be as important as ever to please, if you're in the financial position to do so, contribute to the show. I know it sucks for me asking. I know you probably get sick of, shows and people that you watch asking, but it is very, very important. I apologize, but it is incredibly important in this moment in time that if you have a buck or two to send to the Venmo, if you can sign up for a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership, it would go a long, long way in helping this channel right now. Again, we're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. So again, help us get there. It's only with your help that we can get there, and I can't thank you enough. All right, some people on the Venmo side of things. Kathy Moore, thank you so much. I appreciate. I don't know. I'm not going to say that because I always fucking mess up, but I'm just going to say thank you, Kathy. I won't go into any more detail and screw up anymore. I apologize. Thank you, Roxanne, as well. We got your back, bro. I appreciate that. A huge and a big thank you to Tom and Victoria. I can't thank you guys enough. Really been incredible. Thank you for all of the help. I want to say thank you to Christopher as well. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Chris from yesterday. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Teague. Thank you, Claudia. You guys are fantastic. I really do appreciate your help. All of you guys, it goes a long, long way, especially right now in helping us. Oh, Jeffrey just sent in a 420. I see you, Jeff. I see you in there. Right back at you, brother. I love the 420. Much appreciated on that. Smoke them if you got them. And then we'll hop over here on the YouTube side of things and see if we can't thank everybody over here. Oh, my God, 27 today? Thank you, guys. You guys are unbelievable. It couldn't come at a better time, too, and I'll make more information known as it's revealed to me and as I figure out some things. But again, I just implore you that if you have the capabilities, if you're in the financial position to do so, and it doesn't take away from any other aspect of your life, and you can do it, and forget about it and have it not, again, determine whether or not you're going to be able to eat today, then I would ask you to please throw in a buck or two. That's all I ask for. It goes a long way to help. So thank you to everybody on Venmo. Really appreciative of that. Thank you to Jim for starting it off today on the YouTube side of things. Oh, thank you, Yakov. Is that you? I see you in there. Thank you, Yakov. He says, stay safe, Brian, and we are with you. Right back at you, buddy. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your help. Thank you to everybody again that showed up last night in the Zoom. We had a great showing there last night. It's always great to see you guys face to face and, again, put a face to the screen name that we always see in the chat. So, again, be sure you're looking out for the Patreon Zooms. Head out for that link. And then we have our VIP Zoom coming the 12th for anybody signed up there. So thank you, Yakov. Much appreciated to you, brother. Thank you, Jim. Jim says, universal, everlasting hello to everybody. Right back at you, Jim. Thank you so much for the $2 contribution. Good to see you last night. Sorry we couldn't hang for a little bit longer. That was my apologies. But a lot going on, unfortunately. So thank you for popping in today. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Tom. Very much appreciated to you as well. Let's fucking go. Thanks for holding truth to power, brother. Much appreciated. Again, Tom has a fantastic website. Go over to Dagger Streetwear. He's got a link tree. Check out his fantastic website. Goes to help a great cause over there in Ukraine with the Mr. Dobra. It's a fantastic cause. And again, $10 for every shirt that he sells goes straight to these people, which is an incredible contribution. I mean, if you look at any other kind of campaign going on, not nearly as much per shirt goes towards helping out those people. So it's an amazing contribution. So again, thanks to everything that you do, Tom. Much appreciated. Make sure that people are checking it out if you can. Let's same thing to you, Candy. Thank you so much for your $10 contribution. Very nice to have you here. Very much appreciated that you guys are here. Thank you. It says the new video release that Vance thinks vindicates the agent is absolutely disgusting. Is that the one that we watched, or is there another one? Is there another one after that press conference? Or is that the one that you're referencing? My apologies. If there's a new one, I haven't seen the new one. But if that's the one we talked about today, then we were spot on. So thank you, Candy, for the 10. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Deb, for being here for 7 months. Let's fucking go. Grateful to be in a community here with all of you. Thanks, Brian, for the updates, especially about Ukraine. Very much appreciated. Again, it's something that I'm incredibly passionate about and will continue to be passionate about. So again, if you're interested in hearing about and learning about what's going on the front lines in Ukraine and getting some updates and what's happening there, then you're in the right place. And I appreciate you for being here. So thank you, Deb, for everything that you do. Thank you, Mark. Fox News is disgusting. Right back at you. I'm not right back at you, but I concur with that statement. Definitely seconded on that regard. Very much appreciated for the $2 contribution. Thank you for everything that you've been doing lately. It's amazing. Can't thank you enough. That goes for Crazy Insane Alien as well. I got the full video of this. I'm not sure quite what we were watching on that. Maybe it was the Aaron Parnas one that we were watching, but I do thank you for being here for 6 months, and I thank you for your contributions to the show. Very much so. And thank you, Mark, again. ICE needs to be held accountable. Vote blue. Vote, vote, vote. That's, again, the best way to show up and show out and hopefully make a change in this country, but also getting out there, using your God-given, rights and gifts that you've been granted in this country to protest, to stand up peacefully, to raise awareness, to find like-minded people and build a coalition. That's what we should all be out there doing. So I appreciate you, Mark, as well. Thank you, Yakov. ICE is a state-sanctioned violence. ICE is state-sanctioned violence against the U.S., and that's exactly how they're being used right now. They're being wielded as a weapon, as Donald Trump's, own political fucking security force to do his bidding, to try to quell the resentment and the outcrying of people in this country. And it seems like it's doing the opposite. It seems like it's only stoking more resentment. It's only getting more people into the streets. So we'll continue to cover everything that happens from here on out at Blunt Politics. You can be damn sure. So thank you, Yakov. Very much appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And good to see you last night as well. Who's next? SFL, what's up? Happy. Happy. Just a random happy I throw out there. SFL, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Very happy to be here. More on Aaron Parnas update video. More on, so everybody was kind of letting me know that there was an update video coming out. I appreciate you guys. You guys are always keeping me informed in the chat, and I very much appreciate you for that. Thank you, SFL, for that contribution. Very much appreciated. Good to see you here. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Mark, again. Angry over the F word, thought Republicans were pro-life. Exactly. I mean, they're just showing the blatant hypocrisy. And again, the fact that Jasmine Crockett was pouring her heart out on the fucking floor there, and what they were worried about and what they cared about and what they were outraged about was the F word, in which she was just kind of quoting the mayor there, Jeff Frey. Was it Jeff Frey, if I'm getting that name right? Is kind of asinine. Not kind of asinine. It's absolutely asinine and ridiculous. Again, to not be outraged about the action, but be outraged about the fucking words being used to describe the action. It just goes to show you how much they don't actually care about the situation. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for your contributions. What's up, Neuropilot? Appreciate you. Not a fucking swear job free. Thanks, Boston Brian. No, every show's some people are gonna have to contribute to the swear jar if we're gonna stay on the air. It's just the way that it's going. The frustration, the anger, it's just getting to a point now where there's not a pause. I don't even know how people do shows without swearing nowadays. How is there a political podcast that gets through the entire podcast without swearing? How? I don't know. I don't know how it's possible, but I appreciate you, Neuropilot. Thank you so much for keeping me going. You and JD, always there for me. I appreciate you. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, what's going on? Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Very cool to see you here. Thank you so much for your contributions. I love seeing everybody in here, all the shows. It's very cool to see that we've built such a great community. The best chat on earth. Thank you, Greg. Russian Hackers is my guess. Russian Hackers is my guess. What were we talking about? So it was just after that. Oh, you're talking about the freezing on the stream. I got you. You're talking about the freezing on the stream. I remember. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. That was strange. But I appreciate you, Greg. Thank you so much for your contributions, brother. Thank you, Noel, for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. We're on our way to 1,000 YouTube members. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. So again, if you could help us get there in any way, shape, or form, it would be greatly appreciated. Dark NS 1231. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, can you talk about the people still being bombed and drowned in Gaza? There are also harrowing stories of SA being committed to Palestinians. Yes, we were just talking about in the Zoom last night, and recently on the show, we're bringing up the recent atrocities by Israel. We were talking about this last night. Let me see here. Just bring it up real quick. Israel, Gaza, because there were two instances, I believe, that we brought up. Yeah, there was this one. It was this one that we were just kind of talking about, which was, and I appreciate you, Doc NS, as well, for bringing this up. Let me see if I can get that out of the way so we can see. My apologies. Get this out of here. Get this out of here. Yeah, this was Israel unleashes wave of deadly attacks in Gaza. Border Patrol shoots married couple in Portland. Senate votes to limit Trump on Venezuela. And this is the this is Drop Site, and they're reporting on it. And again, this is just one of the instances that you could point to. Here was another one. This was Spectrum News. There was the Times of Israel. A ton of people doing reporting on it. So again, just with everything that's been going on, it's tough to fit everything into these shows in the news, which is why I'm kind of glad I do multiple during the week. Gives me the opportunity to focus on certain aspects and then still have time throughout the week to cover these other ones. So, Israel strikes kill at least 13 across Gaza. So again, just for the sake of reporting and to get that out there, I don't want you to think that I've forgotten about it by any means or are not just choosing not to report on it by any means. There's, a lot going on inside the country for us to be worried about as well. And again, I'm lucky enough to have multiple shows during the week to cover this. So I appreciate you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate you for bringing that up. And I appreciate you for continuously staying involved with all these aspects going on throughout the globe. So that's why I really do appreciate all of you guys, because you're passionate, you stay involved, you care about these subjects, and you don't want them to be forgotten about. So I'm doing my best to try to cover everything. I know it's difficult. There's no way to keep everybody pleased, but I'm trying my best here. So thank you, Doc and S, for keeping that on my radar. Same thing for Colleen. Still not hearing anything about Charlie Kirk's killer's charges. Another horrific distraction of all the shit this regime is trying to cover. God bless Renee and family. Still not hearing anything of Charlie Kirk's killer's charges. Another horrific distraction. What was it? It was probably like a month ago at this point, maybe a little less than a month ago, that he was he kind of had his last court date that I saw. But again, as to hearing what's coming from that, I'm right with you, Colleen. I haven't heard too much on that front at all, really. So I appreciate you. Thank you for the $10 contribution. That goes for Mark. Thank you, Mark. Pool Boy lost his Russian funding. Yeah, Tim Pool's mad. He's doing he's having to do different things now in order to make ends meet. One of them is, I guess, faking shootings on his property. Another one, I think, is kind of like taking a hiatus with some of his podcasts. I think it was at one point costing him too much. And again, when you're not making $100,000 per episode from a Russian backer, it doesn't really make it that financially feasible to propagandize people on like 47 different podcasts. Well, I think one might be sufficient at that point. So, yeah, Tim Pool, I think he's having a little bit of trouble either mentally or with his family, or something's going on behind the scenes. I think people were kind of speculating on that front too. But thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Colleen. Again, Trump's word means absolutely nothing. Couldn't agree more, as we've seen, as he's shown time and time again in the past. No Money G, Brian Alpha News on X just released leaked cell phone footage of the Jonathan Ross Off and Good, his angle. Yeah, we checked that out again, just in case anybody tuned in late or before or after or whatever it is. Go back and check out the clip in the show where we pull up Aaron Parnas's video, and that clip is in that video where we do take a look at the cell phone footage, the cell phone angle from Jonathan Ross, the ICE officer that did shoot Renee Good. So check that one out. Again, not a ton. We did find out kind of what her last words were, but other than that, I don't know if there's a ton kind of to be learned from it that we didn't already know. But I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. Very much appreciate your contributions and for you being here as always. Thank you, Wes. God bless public education, teachers, and students. Amen, Wes. Amen. Good on you, brother. Good on you. And then Mark even says amen right back at you. Viva la public education. Good on you guys. I like seeing the camaraderie in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Neuropilot. Again, Capital Officer Dunn was hurt, didn't shoot. Remember, absolutely. There's a lot of these aspects. in pieces of evidence that you could look at. We looked at a few of them in the show yesterday, where we took a look at people that were actually using their vehicles as a deadly weapon to flee from law enforcement as the physical suspect in a crime. And law enforcement chose and determined that in that moment in time, it was not safe for them to discharge their weapon, or it wasn't required in that situation. Whatever it was, they made the accurate assessment per their training to not discharge and use deadly force in that instance. But for some reason, in the video that we've all seen now 1,000 times, it was used. And there's just no justification for it to even get to that point. So Neuropilot, very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark, for a gifted membership in there. Please make sure we're thanking anybody donating gifted memberships in any way contributing to the show. It goes a long, long way. So thank you, Mark. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Doc NS, again. How about Israel using Palestinian fishermen as target practice? Absolutely. There's more than several instances and examples that you could look at in which not only is this ceasefire absolutely asinine to even be called a ceasefire, as we've talked about on the show, but ways in which that they continuously violate, even if we are to stipulate that some sort of agreement is in place, that it continuously is violated on a daily basis. We reported at the point where the number of Palestinians reached something like 400 killed since that so-called non-existent peace deal ceasefire was signed, right? So we've been doing it. Again, just a lot happening in the country. Very much appreciate you for bringing it on the radar and keeping us informed of it, though. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you, Mark, for the $2 super chat. Some tired old men were besties with Epstein. A lot of motherfuckers were, and a lot of them still have to be found accountable. A lot of them still have to be fucking brought to justice. I can tell you that much. Pretty much all of them, unfortunately. But thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, JD, for the 5. Don't play in traffic, kids. Great advice. Great advice. Can't do bad. Can't go bad with that one. Can't go wrong with that advice, JD. That's good in any situation. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you. That's going right in the swear jar, by the way. Paul Thanos. That's a name I feel like I haven't seen in a while. What's up, Thanos? What's up, brother? Good to see you. Whistle when you say a while. Yeah, it's Sean Hannity. It's very sweet and succulent when I sit here and I suck on the ball sack of Donald Trump here. I'm going to ask him a few questions here in the coming seconds of this sensational interview. I fucking can't stand him for more than 2 seconds. He's a terrible reporter. He's a terrible so-called journalist is what he wants to call himself, but it's just a joke to even say that word in relationship to fucking Sean Hannity. It's crazy. But yes, thank you, Bald Thanos. Good to see you, my man. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but good to see you, dude. Bicycle Mike, what's going on? Good to see you last night in the Zoom. I have some 420 for you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really do. Thank you for the $2 contribution. I hope you're well. Happy birthday again, mate. Hope you had a good one. And again, good to see you last night. Jin, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Boston Brian, the Crustacean Nation has your back. Much love. Member for 8 months. Thank you so much, brother. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you to everybody that's contributed to the show in any way. Candy, again, thank you so much. Check on your neighbors. Packed up food boxes at the nonprofit I work for to get a bunch of Hispanic families in the area who are afraid to go out. What a wonderful thought that is. Great idea. Great way to help. Great way to assist, right? Good on you, Candy. That's well done. That's very well done. So again, as Candy said here, check on your neighbors. If you live in an area where you know of some it might be populated with some people of Hispanic heritage, people that may be fucking, targeted in some of these raids that you're seeing, whatever it may be, just check on them, help them, again, educate them like AOC was doing of what their rights are in these situations, what they can, what they can't do, make it so, again, if they're not willing or able to go out and want to kind of minimize the time outside they spend, shit just like this that Candy's getting involved in is perfect for that. So good on you, Candy. Thank you so much for your contributions. I really do appreciate you doing what you're doing. Good to see people getting involved that way and doing the right thing. Mark G, thank you for another 5, brother. I can't thank you enough, man. Breaking news at Boston Brian swearing breaks internet. I don't know if that was the reasoning. I'm not sure. I haven't been reprimanded yet, I got to say, on the majority of the platforms. I think I've been kind of skirting around the lines pretty well, but I'd say it's more along the Russian hacker line. I'm going to say it. I'm going with Russian hackers. That's what I'm going with. But I appreciate that. Thank you for the other $5 contribution. It's awesome what you've been doing here. I can't thank you enough, and it couldn't come at a more important time, I got to say. So I appreciate that. And hopefully it's not my swearing breaking anything, because we're in real trouble, because that ain't going anywhere. Darcy, thank you so much. Darcy 2199 for being here for 15 months. I really do appreciate that. Ukraine defenders are the best. Very much so. Frick Ross. What's that say? Frick Ross? USA Frick Ross. Oh, gotcha. The shooter. My apologies. My head was in Ukraine. I was in a totally different subject. Well, Darcy, thank you so much. I very much appreciate you being here. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you so much for being a member for 15 months. It truly means a lot. Thank you for sticking around, everybody, to the end of the show, where I kind of can have the time to congratulate and thank everybody for their contributions, just like Darcy, just like Doc NS. Thank you. Oh, come on, you guys. You don't have to as mods. We're with you, Brian. Always love you. Thank you so much. I mean, I just can't thank you enough, T. I really can't. I thank you. A member for 18 months as well. One of the best mods in the entirety of fucking social media. I can't thank you enough for your support and being there for me, really and truly, T. I thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody. I really can. Oh, and then rounding it out here. Let's see here. Last one. Joseph, thank you so much for the 20. Old Boomer Plumber here. Keep on keeping us informed. Well, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing, not only now, but back in the day when you were are you still a plumber or are you retired? I'm kind of curious. Are you still a plumber? It looks like an old Boomer Plumber here, so I'm assuming you're still at it. So thank you so much for still being in those trenches. Thank you for keeping those pipes clean. Thank you for doing what you do. Believe me, I feel your pain in that area, and I will do my best to absolutely keep you guys as informed as humanly possible, to bring you guys the news, the updates, to cover as many stories as humanly possible so that we're all aware of what's taking place, not only inside of our country, but also educated as to what's happening outside of our country as well, because it's very important to stay, broadly intelligent on what's happening on the planet so we could be of some use if we need be. So thank you guys. I very much appreciate it. Thank you to everybody on the Venmos. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anybody as well. Yakov, thank you so much. Jeff, Kathy, Tom, Roxanne, Chris, all of you guys. I just can't thank you enough. Awesome. Appreciate your support. And I will see you Sunday for the main show. Don't know why we call it the main show, but we do. And I appreciate you guys. So make sure you hit that like button on the way out. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. Can't thank you enough. We're on our way to 20K. Thank you. It's only with your support that we're going to get there. We're hoping to get to 1,000 members as well. So sign up just underneath me at YouTube or on patreon.com/Boston Bryant. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the best chat on earth. Let me throw you on the screen as I get out of here. Thank you. It's these fabulous people here that make this show a possibility. So please make sure that all of you guys are thanking each other for showing up and showing out the way that you guys do. Cam, all of you guys rocks. Can't thank you enough. Thanos, thank you so much. Moms, thank you so much. Great to see you last night as well. Luck Dragon, what's going on? Good to see you. Eddie, appreciate you, brother. Soulcraft, what's going on? Every single one of you. What's up, Sarah? Oh, thank you so much. Proud of my neighbors in Charlotte. Iced Out. Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate you not only for being here for 11 months, but also you and the contributions of you and your neighbors over there. So everybody stand up, but stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. But now more than ever, make sure you're staying safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. If you're out there protesting, if you're out there, peacefully, showing your First Amendment rights out there, make sure you have a plan. Make sure you're with people that care about you, that could have your back at all times. Make sure you have an exit plan, an exit strategy if anything does kick off. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. You know the neighborhoods, all of the good stuff. Just please make sure you can stay as safe as humanly possible. And, God forbid anything does kick off. We hope everybody stays safe out there. All right. So I'll see you Sunday. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, everybody who's contributed today and throughout the entirety of this show. You guys are the reason that this show stays on the air. So I appreciate it, and I'll see you later. All right. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. I'll see you Sunday. Thank you guys. Right back at you, Steph. Very much appreciated. Thank you, moms. Iraq lobster? You're crazy, Thanos. I like it. You're crazy, man. You got a fucking dart me, man. Thank you, Mozart. Thank you, Jen. Hey, Mimi. Thank you so much, guys. I can't thank you enough. I really can't. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Dave. Good to see you last night, brother. It's everything from running it down, all the way up. It's thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate the clap.
Like we always do about this time.
No, they're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated?
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
Thank you guys. Very much appreciate you. I'll see you all Sunday. Thank you so much.
This week it was reported that an illegal alligator thing, and you just look at this, what's happening. The words, I had the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful night. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. Where you going? Nowhere.
Wrong. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel, and he's doing great. Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Is there anything worse than white people?
Cacophony, a crescendo, a finale, a coup de grace.
What uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. Nothing bad can happen, it can only good happen. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. God bless the United States. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. We're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat to.
All right, guys, I'm out. Peace out. Have a great day. Very much appreciate your support. Stay safe out there. See you Sunday. Thanks, guys.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.